the United Nations, making predictions that by 2050, we will be 9.7 billion people. If all these people get educated, get technologically empowered, 9.7 billion people or nearly 10 billion people on this planet is for sure going to be a disaster. Yes. We can make arrangements, we can improve the arrangements, we can make more energy-saving machines, we can recycle the shit.
Step aside, skim milk. You're done, almond milk. There might be a new milk coming to town and it's about to crawl right into the dairy aisle at the supermarket. Cockroach milk. Scientists are saying cockroach milk could be one of the most nutritious things you can drink.
I am not a bigot. I am not a science denier. Cockroach milk is so much more sustainable and nutritious than real milk. I am a good global citizen who gets his recommended daily dosage of vitamin TV. The planet is dying because I exist. The good grown-ups on the TV screen are trying to help us solve this #climate crisis by helping us sterilize ourselves and eat sustainable nutrient-fortified vegan kibble so our sick, sad, dying mommy Earth can feel all better. I'm going to ask my wife's boyfriend if it is socially acceptable to consume cockroach milk as an ethical vegan and animal rights activist.
Discovered cockroach milk has 4 times as much protein as cow's milk. 4 times as much.
Yes. We can do all this, no matter what we create, no matter how much we strive, whatever we build, everything is going to be insufficient because the planet is going to be insufficient. I was in a conference and I said, see, unless you reduce the human footprint on the planet, there is no solution for anything. Then they asked me a brilliant question, how do you reduce the human footprint? I said, you have to reduce the number of feet. That's the only way. I'm not saying children are bad, they're wonderful, but it's just too many. We as human beings, we are wonderful, but we are too many. We are so many that the insect population is going down. No, it's not a joke, it's very threatening. If the insect population disappears, the planet will be destroyed. Yes, the worms disappear, the planet will be destroyed. If you and me disappear, planet will flourish. Our life expectancy has improved. This means we have taken death into our hands. When we take death into our hands, it is our business to take birth also into our hands, isn't it?
I feel so empowered on my vegan climate activist hero's journey. We are all one. I am a highly evolved god who evolved from cosmic pond scum. We are all God. I am you and you are me. We're a happy family that needs to save its dying mommy from our toxic exhalations by taking #climate action now with the more evolved good grown-ups at governments, banks, and global corporations to help educate us how to get rid of ourselves and all the toxic extra human baby feet to decrease our atrocious carbon footprints and save the planet and evolution from ourselves because we are all one.
We're standing here, for this is an emergency. We're standing here for all that we hold dear. We're standing here for beauty and diversity. And we're standing in the love that binds us all. And we demand our government must tell the truth.
Climate change tops the environmental agenda at present. We all know that every additional person will need to use some carbon energy, if only for firewood for cooking, and will therefore create more carbon dioxide. Similarly, we can all see that every extra person is or will an extra victim of climate change. I mean, no one who privately disagrees that population growth is a problem. No one, except flat earthers, can deny that that planet is finite. We can all see it in that beautiful picture from our Earth, taken from the Apollo mission. Every one of these global problems, social as well as environmental, becomes more difficult and ultimately impossible to solve with ever more people. Thank you.
I am so glad the good grown-ups like David Attenborough and Prince Philip, friend of philanthropist Jimmy Savile, and the father of Prince Andrew, close friend of champion of science and philanthropist Jeffrey Epstein, are helping find solutions to all the extra people who need to stop existing. The hashtag climate crisis make me so sad. The totally real death threats from the climate are so scary, and I need the good government grown-ups to fix it and give 16-year-old human shield Greta her future back.
He promoted this on television, and he went around all the agricultural shows, and he had he was a one-man thing, and it had a tremendous effect. It reduced it from 3% to 1%. But one of the things he said to the farmers, he said, look, you don't need all these children, it's ridiculous. You've got to feed them all, clothe them all, educate them all, and look after their health. So have a few, and then if you want to go on entertaining yourself, have a vasectomy. Oh, yes. Well, how do I do that? Well, I'll organize it for you. We'll have buses running into Bangkok on the King's birthday, very auspicious day. And you will go into, and he took over a whole lot of school halls and that sort of thing. And he showed me a photograph of all these beds and everything, and people went in, and I said, but how did they take it? Well, he said they didn't like being seen to have the operation. Oh, I said, really, how do you do that? I had visions of, putting up. Oh, he said, it's quite simple, I blindfolded them.
I am so glad that Jimmy Savile's royal friend, Prince Philip, is helping all the extra people to not exist anymore.
What vegan birth control method would you recommend?
Vasectomy.
Hell yeah, baby! You heard him!
Well, get on board. Come on.
Yes, I love this guy.
Why should the women have to take pills? No.
I feel so empowered by the vasectomy I got from Dr. Gregor. We must help governments and media educate more people on the benefits of not having families or property, not eating real meat or animal foods, and living in smart city coffin apartment cubbies.
Don't screw the planet! Don't screw the planet!
The earth will be so happy and healthy if we eat sustainable nutrient-fortified vegan smart kibble that the good grown-ups at the transnational banks and corporations share with us.
You see, Fred's kids are millennials. They've just surpassed baby boomers to become the largest generation in American history. And they've all been moving back to the cities. But there are only so many houses and cars that can fit in a city. And this is where the sharing economy comes in. We now have these powerful computers, smartphones, in our hands.
I love sharing and do not hate science. The good grown-up champions of science like Jeffrey Epstein and his friends Bill Gates and Prince Andrew know what's best for me and the planet. I can't wait for the nice, happy, healthy corporate global technocratic government to ration and share resources with us. I wish I could help poor 16-year-old human shield Greta Thunberg to find a carbon-neutral ride back to Europe from America so she can meddle in the elections over there and save the planet from the extra people causing the totally real and not made-up hashtag climate crisis.
That led Greta Thunberg to take to social media to call for help. She said, I've traveled around halfway around the world, but in the wrong way. And now she's looking for a way to cross back in the Atlantic by this COP25 summit now in Madrid.
We have tons of time to turn things around. Well, not tons, but enough. Assuming we all act now. Last month, we had an ant problem at my house. This is going to sound strange, but I felt somewhat in awe of their teamwork. In fact, fire ants are experts at teamwork. They're pretty tiny, right? But when faced with large challenges like crossing a river, hundreds or thousands of fire ants can work together to build structures out of their own bodies, like rafts. As a result, they can carry the entire colony across the river. Collectively, they do what is necessary to save the entire group. We too can work together.
Rejoice. I've found a solution to Greta's transportation problem that will get her to Europe and help decrease our atrocious carbon footprint that's killing poor mommy Earth and stealing poor little Prince Philip, Greta, and Bill Gates' futures. We must use the extra people's surplus human bodies to make a giant raft that can bring this brave, 16-year-old human shield back to Europe so she can help the good grown-ups at the global banks and corporations create the happy, sustainable, totalitarian world government to fight the #climate crisis that is our fault because we exist. Nature provides the answers and the wisdom of children will guide us on our journey to sustainability on our renewable carbon-neutral giant human corpse raft.
The things humans fear most is that we will be powerful beyond our belief.
I am empowered beyond my belief to take #climate action against myself to save the planet from myself by drinking cockroach milk, eating vegan kibble, putting the pee-pee in the poo-poo, and sterilizing myself. I am not deceived. I am not being programmed to self-destruct by toxic weaponized pop culture. I'm going to ask my wife's boyfriend if this sustainable giant human corpse raft is vegan friendly.
How do you do that? I have visions of, putting up. Oh, we say it's quite simple. I blindfolded them.
Live.
Okay.
I'll
save that story for off stream.
Yeah, Drew was just telling me a funny story, but I look forward to hearing that one later. What's up, everybody? All these bigots in the chat. 162 bigots watching right now. What's up, everyone?
Bigots.
You guys taking climate action over there? We got a lot of climate action happening in the chat right now. What's up, everybody? You got drewmorg here today. Celebrity vegan, ex-vegan, excuse me. Never really vegan. Who did it wrong and was never vegan. drewmorg. What's up, Drew?
What up, dog?
What's up, man?
What up?
Nice.
What up, chat?
What up, chat? It's been probably 6 months since you've been on the channel here. It's been a while, man.
Yeah, it's been a while. Too long. I love coming in here. I love the bigots. I love it.
You like the bigots over here. So you took a little bit of a hiatus from YouTube in general, man. It was like 3 or 4 months with no drewmorg videos. We were missing you.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, I just needed some time off. I thought I was going to go join the regular corporate robot world, and I got sucked back. I had to go join the 2D world, and now I'm back in the 5D world, the YouTube, making better content and helping people out.
There you go. Helping people to have heart attacks and cancer by not being vegan, right? Because we all know that the #1 cause of death is non-veganism, according to vegan YouTube.
Non-veganism.
Yeah.
Anything that is not vegan, it will kill you. Anything that is vegan is good. So just remember that.
Yeah.
At least you're not harming animals as a vegan, and the world will be better off for it.
Yes. As Location 515, who sent a $5 super chat, says, the earth will flourish. It will flourish.
Yes.
If you want to be a proper Indian guru, you must add a at the end of all of your words. Like a
Sadhguru needs your money. You guys should be donating to Sadhguru now, not Primal Edge Health, okay?
There you go. Exactly. You are sending your super chats to somebody who is making babies and will destroy the planet. John Dennison 499 says, hope this money reaches you. It's provided by YouTube. Love your work and giving you YouTube money, hopefully. he's hoping that the actual super chats make it to me. You know what? I think super chats, YouTube takes a cut, but we do get them, right? So when these videos get demonetized, when they get delisted, when they sometimes just get completely blocked because you use stuff from Osho International, and Osho International will get that shit blocked immediately if you use even 10 seconds of audio from the world famous degenerate Osho. These get demonetized, and you guys help keep these afloat. Thanks for the super chats, guys. So I got my buddy Drew Morg here. Why did you take 4 months off, dude? What were you doing? You mentioned corporate world. What did that look like? Were you what were you doing? Were you building the autonomous driving cars so that we can have the great smart city future where none of us drive? Or what are you doing over there in California?
I feel like I'm in those interviews where I'm talking to these corporate people. They're like, so what? So we've seen you weren't working for like 3.5 years. What were you doing? I'm like, I was in Hawaii for 2 years. I tell them I built an app, an iPhone iOS app, and then they're not impressed with that. Nobody's impressed with anything anymore. You need 5 years of experience minimum to get into an entry-level job to make $40K. It is all bullshit. That's my own personal piece. I have a chip on my shoulder right now about it.
What kind of jobs were you looking at? You're looking at like tech, or what do you?
Yeah, I was trying to get into tech stuff, but I mean the job that was, dicking me around, sending me all over the place. I had to fly out for interviews and stuff like that. They eventually turned me down. It was actually a sales job in California that would have been a nice little payday. It would have been like a little 80, 90K a year job, but honestly, I didn't want to do it, and I'm kind of glad that it didn't work out.
Yeah. All right. Well.
But you asked why I didn't do YouTube. I go through waves. I honestly just feel like sometimes that other people have the subjects covered that I want to talk about. And then I feel like just being a watcher of the content more so than the producer of the content. Yeah. And for a while I was sort of like phasing out of like the health and fitness YouTube. I feel like there's nothing left to say, but I feel like with the reintroduction of Game Changers, this new crazy wave of brainwashed people, there's got to be more. There's going to be more of them. There's got to be more.
You really
of us.
think it's working? Do you really think the Game Changers is? Because a lot of people have been messaging me. They're like, dude, I have like coworkers. I got friends who are telling me to watch the Game Changers, and I gotta bite my tongue. And it's like I don't feel like getting into the argument with them, but people are telling them to watch Game Changers. I don't know, man. I don't talk to. Like, I live in Ecuador. Nobody here is going to go vegan. Veganism is a disease of affluence, right? Like, we live in a place where we have local animal husbandry here. Like, veganism isn't even on the radar where we live. But, of course, in the cities, I see, you'll see some talk about, look at the vegan vegetarian options in these restaurants and stuff like that. So, do you think this Game Changers thing is actually affecting the bigger picture?
Yes, because Game Changers is a mainstream product made for mainstream dumbasses. And when you put big famous names behind something, that means something to the average idiot in the streets. Yeah. And I really mean that. And it like gives me chills thinking about it because it actually pisses me off so much. But that is actually what regular people, that's what validates something to a regular person. So if you want something to go mainstream, you have to put mainstream like values and worth around it. And when you got
you put a Disney sticker on it, you put like a Disney logo on it, and people are gonna think it's legitimate. Oh, look, CNN told me that this is real and that this is good.
So to give you an example, I have a guy that's been recently commenting on my videos. He's a 300+ pound middle-aged African-American guy. He's super strong. He's been working out his whole life. Yeah. He's been arguing with me on a daily basis about how much better the plant-based diet is, and he hasn't even done it yet. He's literally arguing with me about how much better it is, but he's transitioning into it. Like, he hasn't even done it. Yeah. And all he's done is post a couple pictures and videos on his YouTube channel about how he's going to lift all this weight and he's going to lose weight at the same time and he's going to do all this stuff. Literally trying to convince me.
Has he ever been? Is it somebody who's like? Is he a fitness guy? Like you said he's Is he into fitness already?
He's a power lifter. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he's a real person. He's a power lifter. He's lifted. He's benched over 300. Or no, he said he's going to bench 500 pounds. He's benched over 400 pounds in his lifetime. I mean that is incredibly heavy weight.
Very strong.
Not an average person can do that.
Dude, benching anything more than 300 pounds. Very impressive.
Yeah, you're strong.
Very impressive.
Very impressive. But he's telling me that he's going to now do this as a plant-based person and do it 60 pounds lighter. He said he's going to be the first person to bench press 500 pounds, and he's going to do it at 60 pounds lighter than he currently is right now. And he's like,
I want to get this
wait,
guy
I'm
on
going to do
right
it.
Now. I want to talk to him right
Dude,
now. If you're in the chat.
His name is Michael Bennett. He has a YouTube channel. Go look him up, guys. His name is Michael Bennett. I was his second subscriber. I tried to give him some, I wanted to support him and be like, all right, dude, I'm going to follow along with your journey. Show me how to do it. But the guy is arguing with me on a daily basis, like telling me I did something wrong. He's trying to provide me the studies, and he wants me to show him the studies of why it didn't work. I'm like, dude, I did it for 4.5 years. What are you talking about? You haven't even done it for 1 day. Anyway,
Dude,
that's
great.
an example.
So
that's a game
Isn't
changer.
it funny? So people are sold on. It's funny because people already ideologically attached to this stuff. They're already sold on the diet at an emotional level through all the propaganda. Before they even try it, they've convinced themselves that it's the greatest thing ever and that it's going to improve their performance. That's fucking nuts, man. They're like already placebo affected.
Yes, exactly. They're already bought in. They're pre-bought in, and you could tell when that person is going to be so. What's the word for this? Zealotrous. I don't know. They're going to be zealous. He's such a zealot for it that he's going to go out and he's going to convince how many other people to do this when he hasn't even done it for 1 day and proven it to himself yet. But that's how convinced he is. And this is what I've said forever is like, nobody stays vegan forever. Let's say the average vegan, let's just use a number. The average vegan stays vegan for 5 years. Okay. Yeah. That's not true, but let's say it's true. How many people are they going to influence to go vegan in that 5 years? Probably a few. Yeah. So even if one person goes vegan for 5 years and they influence 2 other people, they're already spreading the mental disease more so than them. So they could fall out of it in 5 years. I personally have friends that are still vegan from me helping them go vegan. That they went vegan because of me. They're still vegan right now.
How many friends? Because I thought you told me like the original crew. For those of you who don't know the backstory, Drew, you went vegan for 5 years, right?
Yeah, 4.5 years. Yeah.
He was never really vegan for 4.5 years.
Right.
And he did it wrong for 4.5 years. Every way he could try, many different ways. He didn't start out as a raw foodist. He started out whole foods, plant-based. Did it right according to the Dr. Greger's Daily Dozen Bowel Movements diet. Went through so many different angles of veganism. Finally ended up admitting that it wasn't working. Dude, you know what was cool when we first got in touch? The first time we interacted, I think I banned you. Because you didn't like me, but when you were vegan, right? Is that how it went down?
Right, I was talking mad shit, like in your
mad shit, or just like a little bit of shit. Because I've gone through periods where I'll let people talk mad shit, and then sometimes it's just like first comment. If you slightly annoy me, you're done. So when was it?
It was when you had Darth Luigi, Doctor. What's his name?
Oh yeah, he's not a doctor. Darth Luigi is Luis Villaseñor, Keto Gains dude.
Luis Villaseñor, yeah,
super
jacked keto guy.
Yep.
And I didn't believe it. I was like deep in the durian rider content. This was my first 6 months of veganism. I was still trying to, really sell myself, to be honest with you, because I wasn't making any amazing strength gains myself. So it's like, what happens when you aren't achieving the results that you want? You kind of like want to go out and make sure other people aren't achieving those results so that you're not wrong. It's like a like a powerful mental thing that goes on. And I
it's like instead of
this.
climbing up to the next level of the ladder, let's look at people's feet who are climbing above us and let's drag that fucker down, right? Like I want to make it up the hill first, so I'm going to trip up the heels of the person in front of me.
That's what I was doing. 100%. That's what I was doing. And here's this guy, this dude who's just jacked out of his mind, a physique that I would love to have, and I'm trying to drag him down to my level and blame it on steroids and say that like this meat stuff is going to kill you and clog your heart and all this. And it's like,
you really
I didn't know anything about it.
At the time, did you really believe that I would have had to be on steroids to look like that? Because I mean,
no, not you.
I have a pretty
sorry,
physique.
Not you.
Okay.
It was Villaseñor. I mean, the guy looks like he's on steroids right now.
Okay,
to be honest, with you. Like even if I'm looking at him.
Yeah.
Like I think that
he's made
there's a
gains.
good chance he's on. I know. He's super jacked.
I will say that I know Luis. I do not believe he's on steroids. I completely believe I've known him for years, right? I've known the guy for 5 or 6 years. I don't know. Whenever it was that I did that interview is when I met him. And he's real cool. So Luis Villaseñor, shout out to Luis from Keto Gains. I haven't talked to you in years, but I hope all's going well, dude. I've seen some pictures of him, and I think he's deadlifting 500 now. And I
he's a beast.
He's bigger. So he's made gains, and he's been keto the whole time too. I don't know how much he uses carbs, but he's one of these examples. And I'm not saying like, all right, so the vegans out there, they love to cherry pick and they love to misrepresent and straw man, right? I'm not saying keto's the greatest way to gain muscle and that carbs don't help you, right? I'm just saying this dude did make all these gains without carbohydrates. He went from like anorexic to jacked and really strong naturally. And I would also probably think he's on steroids if I didn't know him. Like, I'd maybe look at him. But you got to consider he's small. He has a small frame. Puts on a lot of muscle. He has a decent frame for bodybuilding. I think he's like 5'6" or 7". So he's kind of like borderline manlet status. And shorter, smaller dudes with smaller arms and big full muscle bellies always look bigger, right? So yeah, he's. I think he's natural. Just to hit up my buddy Luis. So I banned you. Yeah, I guess I said nope. Get out of here, vegan. And then like 5 years.
I deserved it. I honestly deserved it.
And then 5 years later, you hit me up and you're like, "Hey, dude, I'm an ex-vegan. I was doing it for 5 years. I didn't make any gains." So you contact me via email or via comment, and you're like, "I would love to come on the show." So I had you on, and we've been buddies since then. So it's funny how we've kind of known each other for 5 years now.
If you really think about it, there's not very many people who are promoting the same consistent message since their very early days of YouTube. And I thought Stephanie Keto person was insane out of her mind. You know who that is, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of you guys, know who that is.
She's
Stephanie
like a female
Keto
version of Frank Tufano. She's like Frankie the Banana Girl, kind of, right? Like she thinks she invented keto and she's the only one who knows how to do everything, and
okay, no comment. I'm having Frank on my show soon, guys, by the way. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that episode.
That's cool. So you reached the big leagues, man.
Yeah, I'm in the big leagues. I got Frank coming on. Me and Frank Tufano are cool. We're cool. We're business partners.
Hey, Joe Rogan Experience coming next for Drew Morg. Throwing it out there. I mean, when you hit the big leagues, man. I mean, hey, I once spoke to the great Frank Tufano also several times. Actually, wow. He had never streamed. Yeah, he had never even streamed before he came on my live stream, where I showed him how to stream and gave him the format for all the videos that he did after that. So, yeah, dude, that's cool, man. Congrats.
Well, so you're like the Durian Rider of the keto community.
I'm like Durian Rider. I invented streaming, right?
You invented streaming, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Frank Tufano invented eating meat, and I invented streaming. Yeah.
That's perfect. You guys are both pioneers.
Yeah, pioneers here in the mental illness beauty pageant of YouTube. But yeah, no, speaking Stephanie Keto person, we used to be cool, but then she freaked out on me for some reason because I disagreed on coffee or something. So I became a heretic, right? So similar right. With Fwanky, right? If you disagree with anything, or like Sverige too, right? It's like all these little diet cults, man. The non-keto, the non-vegan world is not immune to mental illness and diet cults, isn't?
No, definitely not. I think it's rampant in the diet cult world. I think that the point I was trying to make there was that if you compare the people who have been long-standing keto people on YouTube versus the long-standing vegans on YouTube, how many more, like, compare both sides, how many have left each respective side? Like, the keto people are still doing keto and still getting good results. But the vegans have either completely left veganism entirely and they're singing a different tune now. Look at all the vegans who are now eating a bunch of meat and saying this is the way to go. And then look at the vegans who are still vegan that are long term. I love my Durian Rider guys, but I mean, okay, he had to get new teeth. He had to do steroids to make any gains and stay competitive cycling. He had to get a toupee. Like, these are all...
Durian Rider is not an example of somebody successfully doing a vegan diet. I'm sorry. I mean, that guy's completely mentally ill.
The ultimate failure of veganism, to me on YouTube, that we're all watching this experiment, is Freely. To be honest, I mean, Freely looks... If you're telling me that a 10-year vegan diet is good for you, and you're telling me that Freely's the one who's doing it right, she's the one who's actually got like the worst of all the results. There's no way you can argue that. Go look at Stephanie Keto person over the last 10 years. Her face looks maybe like 2 years old.
Fine. Yeah, no, she looks fine.
She looks healthy. Fine.
She's healthy. She's just like, I mean,
really?
Look, people get in the diet and they get obsessed and they become zealots over their diets, and they turn their diet into a religion, and it's normal across the populations. But you don't see anybody in the keto world deteriorating from their nutrient deficient keto diet. But you see Dr. Greger saying online, I don't know if you watched the last stream, I babbled for a few hours on all sorts of stuff, but no, 2 streams ago we talked about Dr. Greger's tweets, and he said that on a keto diet you'd have to eat 37,000 calories to get the same amount of nutrients that you would get on a balanced diet. It's like, wait, what did you just say?
Dr. Greger is an absolute liar. He's just wrong. He's just wrong. Like vegans call me a liar. Vegans call ex-vegans liars. I'm just gonna call them wrong. I take that back. He's not a liar. He's just wrong. So that's all I have to say about it. There's no right way to do the vegan diet in the vegans' minds. Here's the crazy thing. If you're a vegan right now and you're putting out content and you're getting okay results and you're doing it however you want to do it, vegans will follow you by default because you're a vegan, so they got your back. And then they'll tell you, wow, that's amazing. You're doing great. I'm so glad. Another vegan. Good job. You're spreading the message. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then as soon as you go ex-vegan, they're like, you did it wrong the entire time. You were obviously not doing the Dr. Greger diet or whatever diet that they subscribe to. It's like this super crazy internal brainwashing that goes on.
Mm-hmm.
They literally convince themselves about anything.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, sorry. I was. Let me put it on studio mode. Oh, and the mental gymnastics that you see is one of the most fascinating things. Right, the mental gymnastics that you see of these people saying, making up excuses for why a vegan diet isn't working for so many people. I think you've done a good job on your channel at kind of entering into dialogue with the vegans, playing an important role to be a kind of a bridge, right, to bring people back to team humanity. That's
exactly what it is. I don't care what you do after veganism. You don't have to go carnivore. I don't promote carnivore or keto for everybody. That's not like my zealot thing. I don't care about that. What I care about
you don't even do like
is,
a full you don't do a keto diet. You do like a mixed diet,
No.
right? Like a meat with probably animal foods for at least 60% of your calories. And it seems like you have fun with it. You do whatever you want, basically.
I basically eat a keto light diet. I eat up to 100 grams of carbs a day. Yeah. I'm pretty flexible with them. Sometimes it might be candy. Sometimes it's milk carbs. Sometimes it's bread carbs. Honestly, like, I feel pretty good doing it that way. I have much better digestion now. I have nearly flawless digestion, really.
What is that? How did that change from vegan? Right? How was the digestion? How would the poo-poos on the vegan diet?
Okay, let's talk some shit, literally, guys. Okay, because we need to actually get in. We need to get into the details here. Okay, like, this is the real deal. So, vegans will tell you that their digestion is perfect. Well, let me tell you something. I lived in Hawaii with vegans, a huge group of vegans. Everybody was vegan. I lived in a house with 3 vegan women. Okay.
Yep.
I shared a bathroom with those women. Okay. So I knew what was going on with myself, and we'll get into that in a bit. But I saw what was being left behind in the toilet after they went to the bathroom. Let's just say that. All right. So, like, people can't lie to me and tell me, oh, my digestion is perfect. It's like, I literally can see what's left over in the toilet after you use it. So you can't tell me that your digestion is perfect when I can hear what's going on through the walls, and I can see what's being left in the toilet afterwards. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, I'm not exaggerating that. I knew a girl that was living in my house. We had multiple people come through too, by the way. It wasn't just the 3 same girls. We had actually probably 5 or 6 different people that rotated through during my time there. And one of the girls was on a legitimate all fruit diet. She was trying to be raw for the time she was there. And she had huge smoothies. She ate about 3,000 calories a day. She was gaining weight, all fat, and she had explosive diarrhea all the time. All right? I could hear it. I could literally hear it. So,
like, how many times a day? Like, multiple times a day, or just once?
Multiple times. Multiple times a day. I'd hear her, like, slam onto the toilet. Her cheeks would hit the toilet through the walls. And, we're in Hawaii. Everything's like paper thin walls with all the windows open. Everybody can hear everything. There's no privacy about anything. And yeah, she's just laying into the toilet, and there's no hiding that. Like, I can hear the shit.
It's not just like this is a slight inconvenience. Oh, I'm, shitting 5 to 15 times a day. This is like the lead up to those blast ass sessions. It's excruciating, right? You feel it like burns, like your stomach is burning. You feel the bubbles in your gut, and nobody likes having diarrhea. Yeah. Imagine having diarrhea for 2 years while you're trying to do this vegan diet. And imagine having diarrhea for 5 years. This is normal for many of these vegans, and they get told, oh, you must be doing it wrong. You're not eating enough Slippies, Chippies, and lentils with your, Dr. Greger's Daily Dozen. You're not eating enough of these fiber-rich foods. And they keep shoving more down the throat, and then it gets worse.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, here's the important thing. See, a vegan will be like, oh, my digestion's perfect. Ooh, like, discount everything you say. No. What I'm saying is this happened to a lot of people. Some people do have good digestion as a vegan. I wasn't one of them, but I know plenty of people that were in my boat. And yes, I know some people that claim to have good digestion. Does that mean that everything was perfect for them? Absolutely not. There's a whole lot more to say about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got a big super chat.
Yeah, I've got some super chat. I got a few super chats here. I got to read. Vladiro, what's up, Vladiro? Canadian dollars, $5 from Canada. Says, keep up the good work, guys. Game Changers 100% influences people. I know at least 5 people who watched it and are turning to veganism because bulls eat grass. Ha. Yeah, dude. I mean, how crazy is it? How many dumb people get swayed by these shit arguments, right? Oh, look, an ox. You never see an ox eating meat. Ha 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 ha. Well, actually, you also see an ox eating hundreds of pounds of roughage that we can't consume every day. You also see an ox shitting while it walks constantly, just plopping shits out. I guess, as we were just talking about, that is normal behavior for vegans, though. So if you want to shit like an ox, maybe eat like a vegan.
I saw Christine Salas popping in there. Shout out to Christine. By the way, Christine lived in my house, and she wasn't one of those people, so I just want to point that out. But I just want to say, like, everybody that I know that was a long-term vegan, 4.5 years, 5 years that lived with me in Hawaii, they were all real vegans. And we were all trying to do the diet. We were trying to research it. We were all into vegan YouTube. We were all into talking to each other. We had the best community possible to make this work. We lived in the tropics. We had year-round, organic, top-of-the-line fruit, basically, and it still didn't work. So, like, what other environment could you possibly do it in? Every argument that a vegan uses to discredit the ex-vegans is completely I've stomped every single one of them out. That's why they don't want to mess with me. They just know. They're like, this guy really did it. Just forget about him.
Their arguments are terrible. You've dismantled every single one of them, and your case is one of the best examples, right? They'll say you did it wrong.
Yes.
You've documented how you did it. They'll say you were never really vegan. Again, you documented it. You started out not as an ethical vegan, though, right? How did you start out?
No. I was a bro vegan. I wanted better health. I had pretty bad digestion on my previous diet, and to be clear, what that was like a really bad version of the keto diet. Like, for years I was struggling to be low carb before veganism. I was like, I drank a lot of alcohol. So, I mean, right there, getting drunk once a week, that blows me out of veganism, right? Or blows me out of keto right there. There's at least one night a week I'm consuming 8 to 10 alcoholic drinks. So I probably have all this crazy yeast going on in my body and high sugar content. Every meal I had some carbs with it. Whether it was eggs, I would have bread and toast. Lunch, I would have a sandwich with bread and chips. Like, that was a normal lunch for me. That was like a clean lunch for me, which that's a clean lunch for most people.
Yeah.
They have a sandwich and maybe like a little bit of chips on the side. They're like, all right, that's pretty clean. I did good. At least it wasn't fried chicken. You're like, you got to reconfigure your vision of what is clean and what is healthy.
Yeah.
From what you're used to in the standard American diet. That's just the bottom line.
So you started out not an ethical vegan, going for the gains. The gains just didn't come.
The gains fell off like nonstop. I mean, every few months or so, I would be weaker than the previous few months. Like, if you mapped it out on a chart, right, like a graph, it was always going down. I was always getting lighter and weaker, always. And then until I hit the last year I was vegan, I finally said, screw this. I really need to get some weight back on me. I was 134 pounds at my lightest because I did a juice fast at 5'10". So I was a skeleton, basically. And that was when I just moved to Hawaii. So I was like, you know what? I could not gain weight, guys. Like, I could not gain weight on a whole foods plant-based diet. I was eating cooked food. I was eating all the fruit that I could possibly stuff into my body. And finally, I was working out consistently, very consistently. That's all I had to do. And I jumped back on the protein powder. I jumped back on like stuffing myself for every meal. And I said, okay, screw it. I'm going back to protein powder as a vegan. And then
gotta get the calories in, man. Gotta get the macros.
Gotta get the calories.
You gained weight,
and I did gain a little bit of weight.
How much weight did you gain?
It took me about 6 months to gain like 6 pounds or something, which is okay. Like, I'd be okay with that. But when you consider the fact that my weight basically capped out at like 142, 143, I could not gain another pound. That was even with protein powder.
Yeah.
And the only way I could get bigger than that was like, now we're getting into the insulin abuse and the high fats. So that's when I started eating peanut butter and all that stuff into my smoothies, like literally just making my food so calorically dense and difficult to digest in order to gain the weight that it was very uncomfortable. I gained no additional strength, but I gained a lot of fat.
Probably some bloat too, right? Probably carrying out a bunch of bloat with that.
The bloat was the worst thing ever. It was like a constant, all day, daily bloat sesh. I'm not exaggerating that. And there's people who like try and denounce that. Like how, okay, get out of here, bro. Like I would wake up in the morning with my stomach feeling like there was somebody put an air hose up my butt and pumped it full of air. That's how my colon felt. It was like this pressurized feeling, like I was a basketball down inside my gut.
Feels, though? How do you know how that feels?
Oh, you know, I've experimented with certain things.
Those vegan days. All right, it's Tommy
Vegan
Kelly.
days.
We got another former vegan in the chat. Tommy Kelly. He used to be called Tofu Tommy. He sends a couple of pounds. 2 pounds. Says shout out to you both from sunny Scotland. Tommy Kelly, thanks, man. You're always sending really good links. Tommy Kelly has shared so many good articles with me that I then shared on Instagram. So I really appreciate the DMs over the last few months, Tommy. Really appreciate it, man. I'm glad you're doing well. Tommy got his life back too. I don't know if have you followed his journey over the years?
Oh yeah, Tommy DMs me. Usually I wake up to a DM from Tommy every morning because he's in the UK and the way the time difference works. But yeah, dude, I want to have him on my show soon. He's gonna be, talking about his journey and whatnot. And that's a guy who lost teeth, lost all of his muscle mass, like couldn't get stronger, and he's a personal trainer. And he's a huge animal rights activist, one of the biggest in the UK, arguably. And people still telling him that he did it wrong and that he could have done something else and he could have seen a vegan doctor and he could have seen a doctor. Like, this is the excuse that vegans use once they try and find anything to discredit you. And one of the things that they use to discredit me is that I never saw a doctor. Well, I know many people that did see doctors, and the doctors told them to eat fucking meat and told them to eat chicken and eggs and to get back on animal foods, because those foods did actually cure them very quickly. I know people who've cured anemia and hormonal issues and skin issues and weight issues and everything. It all gets fixed right when you go to animal foods. Yeah. And then the people say, well, you could have still done it on a vegan diet. Like, how? We were eating the foods you're telling me that we're going to fix it. How?
Yeah. And then as soon as you eat animal foods, you feel better. And what do they have to say? Oh, well, that's because of... They'll just make shit up. It's because hormones in meat. All those hormones, bro. Those hormones are giving you an erection. And that's why you're feeling good. It's a stimulant. Meat's a drug. These people... These people are so brainwashed. They're so indoctrinated that they repeat this stuff like mantra, and they actually end up believing some of it. It's
okay. I want to share something I haven't actually said online before. So out of the people, you were kind of getting into that, out of the people that I knew in Hawaii that were vegan, how many are still vegan? So probably about 24 people or so. I think last I counted was like 28 people that lived there full time that were like in my personal close friend group that I knew, and I would see them on a weekly basis or so. Or I lived with them, or I hung out with them on a daily basis, right? I really knew these people very well.
Yeah.
A lot of them are famous YouTubers. That's people who are founders of the YouTube vegan scene, like Megan Elizabeth. Evan Rock, people like who founded this stuff. You know what I mean? Like they had everything invested into being vegan, and are no longer vegan. So what happened was, out of those 26, 27, 28 people, I think only 6 or 7 are still vegan. Okay. Yeah. And out of all the people who went back to eating meat, only one went back to being vegan after that. So what does that tell you? Like, the ones that were open enough to try the animal foods, every single one of them saw a benefit to the point where they were not even willing to consider veganism again.
Yeah.
They didn't go back.
Well,
only one went back. And the reason he went back, he was... Yeah. So I'll talk about that. He got extremely harassed by his fans. He's a YouTube personality. I'm not going to give his name out. But he was just completely...
We know
wasn't
Durian
him.
Rider.
It wasn't him. He was completely harassed. No. and slandered by no, it wasn't any of those people. He's a small timer guy. But yeah, he was harassed by his fans and basically put back into place. And he went back and he says that he didn't notice a difference being one or the other.
Yeah.
Fine, I'll believe it.
Hey,
But
that's cool.
one.
Hey,
That's one person.
if he can do it, more power to him. But I hope he's not out there shaming people for not being vegan, right? I hope he at least understands, wow, 9 out of 10 of these buddies of mine couldn't do it and felt way better from just eating animal foods. Where did he go as far as the ideology goes?
I think he just went back peacefully and was just like, oh, I tried it and whatever. And he accepted his position. But like his buddies were all in the endurance athlete sports. And that was his scene. So that it does work. High carb diet does work better for an endurance athlete, like a cyclist or runner.
But not necessarily vegan, right? It's like, sure, high carbohydrate, but full on vegan. But losing muscle mass in those endurance situations, like you want to maintain very low lean muscle mass in those situations, right? You don't want to have any extra weight on you for cardio. This is why people say cardio kills gains. It's true. Cardio does kill your gains. Cardio makes it that you have to eat more, right? You have to eat a lot more to maintain that muscle mass, and your body will get rid of the muscle mass that it doesn't need if you're constantly stressing it out and breaking it down in those situations. So a vegan diet, it might even be a performance. People might even think that they're going to see improvements in performance when they start out as they're losing lean muscle mass, as they feel these changes from a standard American diet. Hopefully their vegan diets maybe in some ways superior to a standard American diet, but it seems like eventually they hit the wall. They lose too much muscle.
Well, all those guys were obsessed with getting leaner and lighter for the purposes of their particular sport. So it's almost an eating disorder at that point, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, I do think it's an eating disorder to see yourself in the mirror and be of already lightweight and to basically have very thin arms and to have no additional muscle mass, but to think that you need to get leaner and leaner and leaner in order to compete in your sport. It's like, unless you're a professional athlete getting paid millions of dollars, how can you justify making yourself a very fragile being in order to be like better on Strava? You know what I mean? Like, who cares?
Right.
So Hench Herbivore's in here. Shout out to Hench. Let's have an MMA match. Absolutely. I'm down, man.
Hench Fartivore.
It's Hench Herbivore in your stream right now.
Oh, Hench Herbivore, he wants to fight you. Oh, that's great. Hench Herbivore wants to fight. Hey, Hench, how's it going, man? How come you banned me from your channel? Hench Herbivore banned me from his channel. You guys, if you don't know who Hench Herbivore is, he's great. He's a washed-up bouncer with gynecomastia, and he looks kind of like, it's like if the Thing went off-cycle, right? Like he kind of looks like that. Like if the Thing from Fantastic Four, that's it, right? If he went off cycle, he kind of look like Hench Herbivore. But I doubt that's actually Hench. There's Hench Fartivore, and then there's, let's see if
it's not really Hench.
It's not really Hench. Okay, too bad. Too bad. You guys should check out Hench Herbivore. He's really helpful at discrediting veganism as well. There are some other guys out there who, these vegan activists who really do a lot of work for us, right? Like Freely the Banana Girl, another one who helps us discredit veganism as well.
Well, so vegans, like, this is what they don't understand is they do all the work for us. If you ask a vegan a reasonable question, just a normal question, yes or no answer, they will circumvent that answer. Like, I recently asked 12 questions to stump vegans, and the vegans that came to my channel and got all upset about that, they're like, these questions are ridiculous. They're not even hard questions. I can answer them. No problem. I'm like, haha, got you, idiot. Like, I want you to think that. I want you to think that I'm this dumbass for asking this simple question that you're going to debunk me with. They don't even understand that them answering the question is already falling into the trap. They're so stupid. Like, it's so easy to bait them and just have them do what I want. I ask simple questions, basic yes or no. They can't even answer those.
Yeah.
And they try and just go around the argument. What is normal? What is healthy even? Like, we know what healthy is. We know what normal is.
Or even if you, I like to do the same thing, man. You ask these people, these ethical vegans, if they think that morality is objective. And almost all of them say no. Morality is not objective. We just make it up, and it's just whatever I feel is right. And it's like right there, their argument falls apart. They believe that morality is subjective, yet they want to act like it's objective and force their subjective, as they believe it is, morality on everybody else. These vegan gains doesn't even believe that morality can exist. Morality is not even a thing.
And yet
it's a made-up
you're
human
wrong
concept.
for killing animals. So how is that possible? How are you universally wrong for killing animals if there's no such thing as universal morality?
There's no universals. There's no universals, but you're wrong for killing animals. There's no universals, but that's a universal statement. Saying there are no universals is a universal statement. So it just falls apart.
Yeah, we have the cognitive dissonance, right? Their favorite word, right?
They love to learn these words and use them in the wrong way, right? So the internet ruins so many words, man. A lot of words get ruined by the internet.
Narcissist is a ruined word now.
Narcissist.
Everybody's a narcissist.
Sociopath was sociopath 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Now it's narcissist. It's like all these words. People have no idea what they really mean. Gaslighting, right? I used to use the term gaslighting to talk about how the vegan movement tries to gaslight you into believing that veganism is a healthy and good thing to do when it's completely contrary to reality. Now you hear other vegan activists like Frank Tufano using the word gaslighting completely incorrectly, and they don't even know how to use it. So
Frank Tufano's a vegan activist?
That's what I thought. Is that not
really?
That people have told. I don't know. I'm just confused. I thought he was an actor, like a really good actor.
He's a great actor.
Deep cover. He's amazing. And I thought, I don't know, man. People tell me things. I thought he was. That's what I heard. I heard he's a vegan activist. Maybe I'm wrong. So Sarah sends $9.99. Nice super chat. Thank you, Sarah. Says wanted to show support and appreciation for the content from an ex-vegan.
I gotta say, you told me recently you didn't think Frank was looking any bigger. I personally really say I think Frank is actually making gains.
I don't watch him, so I don't know. I don't really watch these vegans. So anyways, let me finish the super chat. Wanted to show and support appreciation for the content from an ex-vegan turned homesteading family in Pennsylvania. Eat meat, yes, but I'm all done having babies. So Sarah, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate the support. Glad you're out there actually homesteading, producing food, making babies as well. Hope all's well with the family over there. Appreciate it. David, what's up, dude? David's always sending super chats. We got Carnivore Marathon Bear. We have a Carnivore Marathon Bear. Wow, Carnivore Marathon. The Durian Rider might be offended. He might challenge you to a fight or a race. He says I'm about 90% carnivore. I have love for trail running. I have a short, stocky body, not ideal for long-distance running. And eating meat changed the game for me. I never get soreness now. Nice, man. Stoked for you. Were you vegan before? Were you like full-on vegan? Badger Wise says, getting us to deny personal empirical evidence of the benefit of animal foods is part of the elite ideological subversive agenda to make us unable to discern reality and rely on authority for truth. Well said. Well said. That's why I used to say they're trying to gaslight you into thinking that this is a good idea, that this is perfect for the community, you're perfect for your kids, perfect for the animals, for the environment. But it's simply not true. And I think Drew's done a really good job of showing just how much, and the vegans like this term now, how much cognitive dissonance there is in the vegan community. Like they can't even admit that these foods are not making them feel good, but they swear they feel so enlightened, they swear they feel so good, yet they're falling apart.
Yeah, you can last. The human body is amazing. You can last a little bit of time as a vegan, but at no point are you going to actually be better than you would be with a well-designed animal-based diet. That I will say as an undisputable fact. There is no human being on this planet. You can hear me right now. You can quote this forever. There is no human being on the planet that will perform better on a vegan diet than a well-planned and executed animal foods-based diet.
There you go.
I'll bet any amount of money on that.
And I
don't care what anybody has to say.
I'll back you up. I'm going to throw, if any vegan can prove us wrong, I will give you $10 billion.
Yeah, exactly.
10 billion.
So Shakudin says, the anti-nutrients have me acting crazy and antisocial, Drew. Dude, that's what I wanted to say. Veganism takes you away from yourself. You lose yourself. Like, the word yourself, like, it disconnects you, dude. Like, you change your beliefs. You change the way you feel. I used to be into, like, weightlifting and doing shit like that. I got so disconnected from that stuff because I simply couldn't do it. I didn't have the aggression necessary for lifting weights and moving that weight anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't didn't like doing that stuff anymore. I changed like my hobbies basically. Like it was weird.
What about friends? Did you lose a lot of friends, like non-vegan friends?
Luckily, no. All my friends that kind of put up with my shit.
You don't seem like you're the kind who got really annoying. I mean, you got a little bit annoying on the internet for a little bit, but you probably weren't that bad in real life. You don't seem like that.
In real life, no, not really. Like you know, my friends that I have are like real friends. They're just like, Drew, shut the hell up. I'm not gonna listen to you anyways. I'm just like, all right, whatever. We're not gonna get anywhere here, so let's just move on.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm sure there's some like vegan people that I knew that don't want to talk to me anymore. I mean, there was a couple that were living in my house when I started to eat the animal foods in Hawaii. They moved out of my house. They moved out of my house within 3 days of me cooking, or no, it was like 2 weeks. I was cooking steaks in the kitchen, and they left the house. They couldn't stick around. They said like the energy of the house was weird, like the smell of the food was getting on their clothes, and their like, you know, they're like little rags that they own.
A thing that
you know?
you hear from a lot of vegans, they start talking about people's energy. I just can't handle that type of energy. I can't be around. And it's because they're starving and they're so sensitive environmentally to everything, and they're so irritable. Right. It's like when you're super hungry, you get a little irritable. You might snap at friends and family. Like you might not want to, you know, you might see a friend walking down the street and you're just like, I'm in a shitty mood. I'm just going to wave and keep going, right? Because you feel like shit, right? Same thing. Imagine you're shitting 16 times a day. You always feel gross because you have to wipe your ass for 3 hours a day. You know, you have a rash all over your butt cheeks because you have burning diarrhea all the time. You have no sex drive. It's like, you know, you're going to be miserable. It's not going to be fun to be around people, and people's energy becomes like it's like a scapegoat, right? Oh, the energy's so bad in this house. It's like, no, you can't handle smelling meat because you're so fucking hungry and you're torturing yourself so badly right now. And me eating this meat in front of you reminds you of that, and you can't fucking handle it.
Well, they're just weak. They're weak mentally. They're weak physically. I mean, think about this, guys. This is a great example. If you're sick and you have like a fever, right? You know, when you have like those body chills and you have the body aches, you guys know what I'm talking about. Everything that you touch that's like cold, it physically hurts, you know? Like imagine having a cold where you have body aches and then going to the fridge and putting your hand in the ice thing to put ice in a cup. Like that's going to hurt your hand. Whereas normally speaking, you don't have any issue with that at all. Your resistance to everything is so much stronger when you're healthy. But as a vegan, you're like always in this low level sickness state. That's why everything starts getting through your force field. You know, your ability to resist anything just goes down. By the way, somebody asked me something. You mind if I answer it?
Oh man, hey, yeah, throw it out, man. Whatever you want to bring, wherever you want to bring the conversation, go ahead.
So Save Earth hits me up. He says, Drew, is there any vegans in Hawaii or elsewhere supplementing with some animal products that you knew that still claim to be vegan online? Yes, I do. I know of one person I'm thinking of in particular that was there that is now publicly not a vegan anymore. They were throwing in eggs every once in a while. And trust me, it was a shocker when I heard it as well. But we're talking like maybe 2 eggs a year for the last 3 years that they were vegan. I can't give out their name, but there you go. They were supplementing with those that whenever they really felt like they need it, which is kind of interesting, isn't it? They really felt the need to throw in eggs, and I was offended too. I was like, "What the fuck? You're eating eggs? What?"
That's so crazy. I didn't know that Durian Rider. I thought he was fully vegan. That's weird.
Wasn't Durian Rider.
Oh, okay, damn it. All right. I've got Freely pulled up here. She's such a good example. Oh no, I gotta make this smaller so everyone can see it better. There we go. We've got Freely pulled up on the screen, and I mean that's her current form.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine. It's very scary, man. I mean, I can't imagine. That's someone's daughter, you know? I mean, who knows? Maybe her dad really pissed her off. Maybe her dad wasn't so great. I mean, the fact that she kind of gravitates to dudes like Durian Rider. But yeah, man, I feel bad for her parents, man. Imagine your kid or just a girl you love, like, you know, your sister, your brother, your mom does that to herself publicly. It's shocking.
And gets rich doing it.
Oh, and gets all sorts of ego boosts and, you know, builds a false personality all around this. And yeah, I mean, it's
Isn't it crazy how she lived in that shithole house with Durian Rider, which is his house, by the way. He calls it his crack shack, which it legitimately looks like a crack shack. she lived in that house with him. They both got YouTube famous. They both made their bucks, right? Back when YouTube was like really, really profitable. Yeah. And she was making crazy money selling the Raw Till 4 books and stuff like that. Because she eventually outgrew Durian Rider, threefold. She left him. That's what we see people do in these type of YouTube relationships. When both people get famous and one of them gets more famous, they ditch the other one. Yeah. Even though they help them get there.
These people use each other as leverage for fame, right? These are fame hungry. Right. I mean, YouTube, like I've said many times, it's the mental illness beauty pageant, right? It's a magnet for people who are deranged. They can get a huge following that's going to validate, justify, and fund them in whatever madness they're involved in.
Exactly. So then she goes and she moves. Where did she go? She moved to freaking Queensland, right? Which is a more tropical area. She didn't like Adelaide. She never liked Adelaide, right? She never liked Adelaide, even though she was there for 5, 6, 7 years with Durian Rider, getting famous, becoming the YouTube celebrity
enough.
Couple that they've.
It's never good enough. Hungry Western women. The Western women are so hungry. They want the money. They want the fame. They want the fortune, and they want the YouTube mental illness beauty pageant participation trophy.
So she went from pooping in buckets, right, and then putting that in her garden, which, by the way, can transfer pathogens to the food that you eat, which is the most disgusting thing in the world. You should never fertilize your own plants with your human manure. That's disgusting. But they went from that to her moving into that all white sterile apartment. Do you remember that when she moved into that place? She left YouTube basically. And then she came back. She's like, yeah, I just can't deal with the stress of YouTube. And she's in this like palace. It was insane. And then she eventually moved to the, to the jungle or whatever. So who the hell knows what?
She tried to, she tried to come to Ecuador for a little bit, and I think she got really quickly didn't enjoy it. I think she went back to like somewhere in Asia, right? Is that where she's at now? I don't even know where she is.
I don't know where she's actually living, but yeah, she's just in the jungle somewhere, and it's amazing how she has the most pale skin of all time, but she's in the jungle with 365 sunshine. It's crazy.
Just living in her own self-created hell, right? No matter where she goes, just creating this hellish situation around her. It's really sad. I mean, she's one of the best examples of these the vegan deterioration. You see mental and physical deterioration, because the mental aspect of it, the psychological aspect of it is just, it's shocking with some of these people. You want to watch some?
Definitely.
Let's check out this Freely clip and maybe make some do some commentary. Please, Drew, let me know if the audio is good from my end for you, if you can hear her. Oh, I can't even hear it. It's muted. Okay, let's start this over.
You're going to get huge. You're going to get obese eating fruit because sugar makes you fat. It's like, oh gosh, for life, it's absolutely vital. And, she's starting to make that connection, and it's really big of her.
I don't know why I was so afraid of bananas. Really don't understand that.
She doesn't care. She promotes something that causes cancer to her young audience.
All right, so the voice is what really strikes me right now. Are you hearing that? Can you hear it okay, Drew?
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah.
Does she sound like really, really weak? Like her vocal cord, like it just sounds like it takes so much energy for her to speak. And you look at how small her waist is, how small her diaphragm and her organs are, the shrinkage she's getting in her organs and probably her brain too. She can barely fucking talk and move her diaphragm. Listen to this.
Cancer, her young audience.
So, I want to point something out to people, because I've paid attention to like the bodybuilding community for the last 20 years. I've been, I was a little like, I wanted to be like buff when I was 18 years old. So I was researching bodybuilding.com and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So my entire life, I've been seeing people in contest prep shape. This is what they call it when a bodybuilder works out all year and they're going to do a show and get on stage, right? And they get super shredded lean. Go look at these people. If you go look at a bodybuilder at 4% body fat who's just shredded to the bone, where you can see their glute feathers.
They're dying.
These people still have a full face. Yet vegans lose all that in their face, and they're not even as lean as these bodybuilders that are in contest stage prep, which is like hours away from death. Yet they still have a fuller face than these vegans.
Yeah.
So
because they just got there real quick, right? They dieted down real quick, and they're using hormones. Like, they're using a lot of drugs and substances to maintain a certain look on the physique. But imagine starving yourself like that consistently for years. This is what you get.
Yes.
You get atrophy of all your tissues. You get atrophy in your organs.
Yes.
This woman, she can hardly speak. Listen to her fucking voice.
Free woman. So today's video is on Meredith Foster. She has millions of followers across her social media, and a lot of you know who she is. And also, a lot of you have seen the videos that I have made.
She sounds like she's straining to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining things, but this woman she sounds unhealthy. It's sad.
It's hard to watch them. And it's genuinely hard for me to look at these people anymore because just everything, like the neck muscles, it's all sucked up in the neck. It's all sucked up under the eye sockets. The forehead is really dry usually and has those large lines that they all get Joker face. You know the Joker?
The cheeks, like you get lines here because all the fat goes away.
Yes. Yep, all the fat goes away in their upper lip here, and then they're left with this like pointy cheek when they smile. It has this like it's like a Joker, like they painted that face on. It's seen all over the place with the long-term vegans.
Damn. Yeah, this is I don't. It's hard to find somebody with a more striking deterioration than Freely. I had to come over here to another tab because it makes me sad looking at her. Here's Drew's channel. You guys make sure to check out Drew Morg. Almost 5K subscribers. Dude, you got 4K subscribers. Congrats. That means Vegetable Police, right?
Yep, Vegetable Police. Where you at, dog?
You getting that interview with the VP?
Dude, that guy will never come on my channel. It ain't happening.
What's he doing now?
If somebody says they're gonna come on my channel and then they big league me, they ghost me, I'm just gonna talk shit on you. Vegetable Police, get out of here, dude. Failure. Failure on all the diets he tries.
What happened to him? What's he doing now? Have you paid attention to him in the last like 6 months? Because I've not. Yeah. I've not seen.
I watched one of his videos like yesterday for the first time in months. Basically, he is basically vegan. He's bought into the celery juice diet of the medical medium. So he has this very, believe it or not, he has this diet where he's essentially doing lemon water in the morning, waits 30 minutes, 48 or 20 something ounces of celery juice.
And then juice.
It has to be plain. And then he eats fruit. And then I think I don't know if he's 100% vegan, but he admitted that his digestion was amazing. He had no gas, no bloating while carnivore, but he says that it was clogging his colon, just like the vegans say. And when he did enemas, so much stuff came out of him. Like, how?
When I put 5 gallons of water in my butt, so much came out of me. It's amazing.
Right.
What the hell are you talking about? These people, they self-harm themselves over and over again. It's so crazy to see, man. I mean, I saw it with Matt Monarch over the last, like, I don't know, since I met the guy, just full-on deterioration and so blatant. In the end of it, he was like fucking Alzheimer's patient, just gone, dude, zoned. Yeah. And he's back here trying to promote some fake cure that it supposedly healed his gut, and he's trying to sell these probiotics that he wasn't even taking when he was going through his little near-death experience on his vegan diet that almost killed him. It's veganism is self-harm. That's like, it's long-term, socially accepted self-harm. That's how I see it now.
People in the chat are saying that the Vegetable Police is losing weight by the day, and that's what I've seen too. Yeah, he's like, he is actually deteriorating as well. Again, he's regressing. He had a little bit of muscle mass going on. He was starting to fill out and look decent. Yeah. He's getting stronger, and just like, nope, crash again. You've lost everything again.
But bro, the spirit said the spirits told the medical medium that you have to drink the celery juice plain, or the spirits won't work on him. Like this guy channels this information that he gives people, and these people are eating it up, dude. People are eating this shit up. Carnivore Marathon Bear, thanks for the $1.99 super chat, says never vegan came from a plant heavy diet though. So he was the guy earlier who said he was getting better performance. He's short, stocky, and he's doing long distance running, which for us guy, like I'm pretty wide. I'm not very short. I'm like 5'9", 5'10", I think 5'9". Depending on my posture, right? So 5'9", I'll say, and I'm pretty wide, big frame, and yeah, dude, long distance running just really slays me. And I'd like to maybe get in with Drew in a little bit about like what he's been doing as far as training goes, and talk a little bit about that. We can maybe talk about what I've been doing as well, and that would be cool. But let me read some more of these super chats. David sends another $5. Thanks, David. Garland Farms up in the chat with that wrench. What's up, Garland Farms? Who else we got here? We got Nanette Bohm sends 109 Noaks. What are Noaks? Is that North Korean or is that Norwegian? I don't know. He's in Norway. Thank you for the generous super chat, man. Says, thanks for the work you do. Living in Norway, I'm always shocked that more and more people follow a vegan diet and consume nearly 100% imported food while believing it's good for them and the planet.
So I want to comment on that. Like, I saw that super chat. It's so funny to me that the people who generations and generations for probably the last 5,000 years, their Norwegian ancestors are eating heavy diets of fish, meat, hunted game, wild game. Like, how would you even be vegan there without the use of modern technology in the last 30 years? It would be actually impossible to not die of starvation. Yet people are doing it and thinking it's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Like, and
People
then
are
you got
doing
somebody
what-
like
yeah, just like your grandma. If you told your great grandmother what you were doing, she would freak out and say, "You are starving yourself. Why would you do this? What are you doing? Are you trying to kill yourself?"
Yeah.
People keep going though. They keep it up. I'm pulling up some stuff to look at now. I've got, let's see, we've got Matt Monarch's Facebook page.
Matt Monarch was trying to sell that B12 supplement from his deathbed, man. That's hilarious.
Dude, he's still...
That guy's a real freak, man. That guy's a real freak. Like,
he's another level
somebody
of
who's
degeneracy.
There's levels to salesmanship, and he's at the top of the tippy top.
Well, he's the first YouTube like prominent YouTube person I met, and you could tell he was mentally ill from his videos. But then like when I actually met him, it was like, you know, you try to give people the benefit of the doubt, try to see the best parts in people, and maybe bring out better parts. Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, having known this dude personally, it's been shocking seeing how sick some of these YouTube e-celebs are mentally and then physically too with the vegan movement. But he tried to say that he was he's going to sell the supplements that saved his life, but it's a total lie. B12 probiotic.
Well, he's selling B12.
He's trying to sell B12.
Like, he's literally
probiotics.
repackaging B12. How much more of a salesman can you be?
And he's not even vegan anymore. He hasn't been vegan for over a year. People were giving him animal foods. He actually ended up gaining weight back, but then kept going back to his self-harm practices of veganism and stuff. And it's just like, you can see his face is way more crooked now. I mean, I'm trying to. I wish I could find his new website. He, like, relaunched his website. It's really freaky. I'm trying to find. What's he selling? Polyester DVD. His 40 like, he's got all these scams he's trying to sell now. MattMonarch.com is his new website.
Polyester DVD. What is that?
I have no idea. Let's 40.
What is a
Matt Monarch is back and better than ever before in his late night music DVD called Polyester.
Regrets, I've had a few, but then again,
just doubling down the mental illness.
to mention.
You will also receive his new rendition, Bebopper the Kitty.
Who's that little bebopper sitting on the floor? Here's that little
What is this shit?
sitting on the floor.
Dude,
The value of this DVD collection is
mentally ill,
$999,
dude.
but we are going to give it to you not for $800 or $600 or even $400. We are going to give it to you for $89.95. That's right, only $89.95. Act fast.
Right? There's nothing.
This offer will not be around for long.
This is nothing. This is not real.
It's not
Okay,
real.
that's
It's
fine.
like supposed to be fake.
It's just
but, all right,
insane.
this is what on the left. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Look how he still tries to sell his uses kids to sell his bullshit too. Kind of dishonest fucking demon are we dealing with here? Putting his picture of
Look at
his
that skinny
kids up
fat
there.
body too. That's crazy.
Look, that's him after eating pizza and burgers and just everything you wanted for like the last year and a half to gain that weight back. And he's saying that what got him back was these products that he's going to sell you. What are the products? B12, fake probiotics, and postbiotic products that here's what he did. He found somebody that would give him these products on consignment. So he does pre-sales, like he gets the product on consignment. Right. He does a big pre-sale and just, oh, look at this miracle product.
It's a good scam.
Yeah, so just full on. But he's lying to people and telling them that these products saved his life. That is a straight up lie. So this is the level of degeneracy. This is the level of mental illness that you see in the vegan community right here. Just doubling down on it, on selling probiotics. Let's check this out. I'm not watching.
Welcome everybody. This is Matt
20-minute
Monarch,
video,
and
but-
yep, I'm back.
So all right. So the reason his face is all puffy there is because he's on prednisone. He admitted this publicly. So he's on prednisone and took a bunch of antibiotics. So modern medical Western medicine saved this dude's life like 10 times, right? He had to be on IV at one time. He was actually dead. He had like his heart stopped and he was revived by a doctor. Like people were saving this guy over and over again. And he's out there saying that these products saved his life when this dude was hospitalized and he's been on prednisone for like the last 9 months or something. I don't know how long he's been on prednisone, but just like dishonesty level 1000 here.
Many people have many questions, and I'm going to be doing a live hangout soon, and I will answer all your questions then. And as we speak right now, my doctor has decided to wean me off of all the meds because I've completely healed from my disease. I had colitis. As many of you know, I went down to 96 pounds and almost died, literally, in Angela's arms. There was actually a death rattle in my voice, and she said, "Come back." And there happened to
Listen to him using his near-death experience where by the grace of God, this dude didn't die, and he's trying to sell you probiotics with it.
This is sick, dude. This is sick. This is actually sick.
This is so sick. All right, so this is even sicker than Freely. Look at him on the left. 90 pounds. That's what he got to with his vegan self-harm. But they'll say, oh, you did it wrong. He's raw. So now the vegans, they're on this crusade against people who are doing it wrong. What do you think about this whole thing? Like, they preemptively attack people like, who did they attack? I don't know, Freely and these people and Goji Man. They preemptively call people out who are doing it wrong because they know
they got smart.
Yeah.
They got smart because now they know that this guy's the next guy to leave the vegan cult. And so if they call him out beforehand, then whatever he says afterwards is immediately discredited. It's very smart. It's a very good tactic. I'm proud of them for figuring out those advanced strategic tactics, but it doesn't make a difference that this guy got sick doing. I mean, this guy was like a legendary juicer. He had the $5,000 juicer. I remember that big stainless juicer.
Yeah.
That thing is $5,000. And he was making juice videos like 6 years ago using that thing, trying to show everybody how to use it. And that's when all this stuff was blowing up, was like back in the day, and nobody had an issue with Matt Monarch back then. He was the gourmet raw food guy that was doing the juicing and was providing this this high-end, information.
Durian Ryder and them, they hated Matt because Matt didn't take like
he's making money.
He was making a lot of money, and he didn't take a hardcore ethical vegan stance. And he said he thought it was fine if people ate honey. And they were like, no, bro. He didn't even eat honey. But he said it's okay if other people eat honey. He doesn't think it's an ethical problem. And they hated him for that shit. So they didn't like him because he made money too. Because, it's their money, right? It's like this. You see it on YouTube all the time, man. People hate when other people are getting attention. People hate when other people are making money. It's really sick. But yeah, he was the dude. He was the dude with his 5K juicer. And look where he juiced himself to. Look at that. That's sad.
Looked like he went through the juicer.
Right, he done juiced himself.
He's a celery stick that just went through the juicer, and that's the fiber that's left, man. That's it.
Let's see. All right,
that guy on the left.
Let's
bones,
stomach.
The bag of bones.
Let's see if we could stomach a few moments of Matt.
Not a doctor there who was giving me a
He was gonna lie about it. Not a doctor, but a doctor. Not a. So he's lying to us again. All right, listen to this. He's gonna almost lie about a doctor saving his life because he realizes that he's trying to market you these fake probiotic and B12 products, and he almost outs himself. What a douche.
Happened to be not a doctor there who was was about to give me a vitamin C drip because I wasn't doing well, and he had to revitalize me with a cortisone shot, and then I went straight to the hospital for the first time.
Where I almost died again.
And then it's been a crazy battle journey since then. In my stool, I was bleeding teaspoons and teaspoons of blood all the time. There was no healing, it seemed, for me. I was in.
And then
I wonder why.
His wife was giving him animal foods, and he was gaining weight. And then he would freak out and say, "No, animal foods are bad. They're giving me mucus. They're making me so sick. They're making my digestion."
I want to talk about that. Beautiful, great transition here.
Yeah.
That people, the hardest thing, and I want to cover this subject. We could talk about visible results, the way people feel, all we want. And there's some people who will gravitate towards that information. A lot of people will leave veganism for that information, because they can feel it. They jump on the animal foods. They feel better. They're like, holy shit, I've seen the light. Great. I love you guys. You're like me. But the people who are these animal rights people, they're so emotionally invested in the diet that they still can't get over the fact that they'll be eating an animal. Like, that is the hard part for them. They don't.
Yeah,
they know that
I'm feeling better. My life is coming back to me, but I feel so bad. They're so programmed. You felt guilty. Oh, it's dirty. It's bad. It's terrible. It wasn't even the ethical thing. It was the physical. It's like, oh, this is acidic. This is bad for my body. This is not raw plant food. But he was gaining weight, and then he would go back to the self-harm and go right back into the old cycle over and over again.
That's what people struggle with the most. That is the number one problem. I get 2 people DMing me on my Instagram. One, Drew, you helped me see the light. I went back to animal foods. I feel so much better. I'm eating a steak today. Great, great, great. Right? Cool. Awesome. The other people is, how do I get over this hump of emotional turmoil that I'm experiencing considering going back to eating animal foods? They like, some of them haven't even done it yet. They're like, they want to do it, but they actually cannot get over the emotional aspect of it. That is the part that's blocking most people from trying it out, because their body will tell them what's up once they go back. But the brainwashing and whatever, the emotional stuff that they poured onto themselves, that's the part that they can't get over.
Yeah, they're mentally deranged, right? It's like it's more than just a nutritional deficiency disease. This is it's like a mental thing that happens. People get convinced that animal foods are terrible, that they're destroying you, and it's all this emotionally charged language gets used to essentially program you to reject it. And I think it's not food. And you see it in clips like the one you pulled from John Venus's recent video about him eating the fake steak, right? Like, you see this this internal battle going on. I like that video you selected. And someone in the chat said they like it. Where did that comment go? I pulled up his channel so you guys can see. His name's drewmorg. Maximum Carnage says, who's the guy on the left? I like him. That's my buddy drewmorg. That's his channel right there. Make sure to sub it. If he's not at 5,000 subscribers by tomorrow, you guys are all going to get banned from the channel. So everyone in the chat right now, go subscribe to Drew, or I will ban you. But don't go right now, because then don't go right now. Go later. Go later.
No, after.
Keep the view count up so that YouTube will think we're bringing in revenues for their advertisers at General Mills and General Motors, and Kellogg's. So yeah, dude, it's the mental illness is strong there in the vegan world, and man, this is an example not just of somebody who got wrecked by veganism physically and mentally, but of somebody who doubles down on it and is still going to try to milk it for the marketing, right? Like, he's not telling anybody yet, I mean, at least I don't see here, he's not telling anybody that he was eating animal foods to gain weight back, and that he's been eating pizza and burgers and whatever the hell else he wants for the last few months. Who knows how long, maybe even longer. He's telling you that that this vegan thing is fine, and that you should just buy probiotics, postbiotics, and fucking B12 powder. Way overpriced bullshit products that he's trying to pretend like they're brand new, marketing them to you. I mean, this is...
Well, what people don't realize too, like, you know, this probiotic stuff and the postbiotics and all this crap, these digestive enzymes is one of the only ways that's keeping these vegans afloat. You know, all these vegan protein powders now, when I started buying vegan protein powders 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, whatever, they didn't have the digestive enzymes built right into the protein powder. Then Vivo Life came along. They got blown up and popular by guys like John Venus and Derek Simnett and Nimai Delgado and Brian Turner, the Fantastic Four, the guys who are the vegan bodybuilder poster childs who all promote Vivo Life. They get paid to promote Vivo Life. They probably made somebody millions and millions and millions of dollars. People don't realize that the digestive enzymes that are in that protein powder is probably the only reason that they can even continue sustaining and making any gains whatsoever. And now that's the standard. If you go to the health food store, like you go to Whole Foods right now, and you look on the shelf of the vegan protein powders, most of them, the high dollar ones, the good ones, they all have digestive enzymes built right into the protein powder. Yeah. So even these companies know that the reason you're not making any gains is because you can't digest the damn food. So they just sneak it right in there, the digestive enzyme complex, whatever that is. Yeah. And that allows you to actually break down whatever it is that you're eating. So at least you're going to get some nutrition.
There you go.
So through the grace of modern science, we're able to perform a little better on the vegan diet.
Yeah, you're only able to do this vegan diet, and some people are able to maintain it for a period of time only because of all this processed, refined stuff that's imported from all over the world. And then these people are going to lecture us about sustainability while they tell us that we got to get rid of our animals in this area where we can produce all our own food in just this valley here. They're going to say, no, that's not sustainable. You got to import our soy. You got to eat our fucking protein powders and all this stuff. It's crazy.
It is really crazy. People have no idea how much land is out there that not everybody can be on grass-fed diet. So that means we eat the shit, right? Like that makes no sense. So first of all, there probably is enough land to actually have grass-fed animals, free-range animals to supply a lot more people than you think. Yep. Just over here in my backyard, basically a few miles away, we have millions of acres of land that is so cheap to lease that we have local farmers here on that land. The land can't be used for anything else. It is literally like desert hills. And there are specific types of cattle that can live on that land, that are living on that land, that are producing thousands of tons of meat for the local community. And that's what the local farmers are doing. This guy leases 1,000 acres a month. And it's like, he's just a regular dude. He has like a few hundred cattle on that land that just migrate around and eat the freaking the weeds, and they're healthy.
Let me just respond.
I've seen them with my own eyes.
There's some degenerate idiot in the chat named George Sharp says, Matt Monarch brought you down to Ecuador and now you're making fun of him. Matt Monarch did not bring me down to Ecuador, you dumb fag. Actually, we came down to Ecuador on our own accord. Didn't even know he was here until a few days before we left when I saw this idiot on YouTube, right? So just because I know somebody and just because I've been friendly with somebody in the past doesn't mean that I can't shit on them for being a piece of shit degenerate. So, George Sharp, you are now hidden on the channel, and you may not further comment, you dumb fuck. So we got another super chat here. $5 from Cowitarian. Cowitarian always supporting the chat. Thanks a lot, Cowitarian. Much appreciated. Again, you guys, when you come on my channel, this isn't the public bathroom wall at your fucking high school that you get to scribble all over and write F you. This is, you're hanging out in my living room, right? So don't come here and insult me and think you're going to fucking hang out in the chat. All right. But we got a couple really awesome. We got John Penis, which I love that somebody made a avatar for John Venus with my, I'm sure somebody's called him John Penis before, but I just, for some reason, I'm a child. I love it. The Penis brothers. John
I
and Leo
prefer
Penis.
John Intravenous. I think that's a pretty good one too.
John Intravenous and John Penis. Thank you for joining the chat. There was somebody else that was really funny. What's the other one? Did you see it, Drew?
No, but I do want to give one last shout out to that guy you just banned. He said that, Drew, you're an idiot. It takes many acres per cow or whatever. That's simply not true. You just need to go research a little bit about guys homesteading on their own land. There's really big popular farming channels now that are getting the love they deserve, like Garland Farms, and there's even bigger guys. Greg,
dude, you come look at our land where we live, right? You can't produce any viable protein. You can't produce much of anything as far as viable protein and fat goes from any plant foods. Yet you can produce loads of animal foods. You can have so many chickens, goats, sheep, cows on a small piece of land, regenerate the soil. You vegans have no idea what you're talking about. This guy who's just talking shit, who also said you have a lot of nerve criticizing Matt Monarch. I will criticize whoever I want. You have a lot of nerve criticizing me for criticizing Matt Monarch, you fucking hypocrite. So yeah, dude, you're out of here, George. What a dork.
So in Hawaii, there's so much hillside that can't be used for anything. It's too hilly. It's too rocky. You would never be able to put a farm on that land. Yet it's so prolific with goats that you can literally accidentally run into goats on this huge stretch of road on the west side of the Big Island of Hawaii. There's goats everywhere. If you're driving on that highway, you're going to see goats grazing everywhere you look. And that land feeds those goats without even, there's so many that they're wild. I mean,
how about this?
They're like
how about this, Drew?
there.
So you lived in Hawaii for a while, so you understand.
Yep.
A lot of people go to Hawaii. A lot of these vegans, a lot of these vegans transplant to Hawaii thinking they're going to live in some fruit garden paradise. All of them end up eating animal foods, and all of them end up realizing that chickens are running all over the place, that there is animal food in abundance everywhere. And check this out. What about, did you talk to, I know you guys weren't doing a lot of food production yourselves, but Have you talked to some of the farmers out there who have issues with hogs? What's up, dude? Sorry, my kid just walked by. There's issues with hogs, with these wild pigs, with these boars in Hawaii, and they have to kill them to protect the crops that they're growing for your vegan food. They have to protect their crops from these animals, and they're always killing them.
That is true. I had multiple friends that had their own farms that were full production farms, like Evan Rock. I mean, he's got, I don't even know how many banana trees and different gardens that he has going on there. I mean, he has an entire durian orchard with like 15 or 20 trees. Legitimate farming practices, things that they're working 3-4 hours a day on every single day because the grass is insane there.
Where is it?
But it's in Hilo. Their farms are in Hilo.
I thought they were in California.
And also have Evan Rock. No, Evan Rock has a whole farm with a custom built house. Everything, the most beautiful view you've ever seen of the Hilo Bay, right outside of Hilo. Yeah. And yeah, their land. I mean, they have hogs that were there. They can't fence in 17 acres. That's impossible, right? So even when he was vegan, they'd have hogs come on the land, and he would have to call up local Hawaiian dudes that would come take care of the hog for him and shoot him. And every once in a while, that had to be done.
Yep. And Roseanne, she was trying to be like a vegan or vegetarian. I remember hearing her on, I don't know what interview it was. It might have been like Joe Rogan or something. And Roseanne's talking about how, all right, I have to get the people to come here and kill. Thanks, Ariana. Wait, lock it though so it doesn't blow open again. Thanks. All right, I'll see you in a bit. Bye. I don't know, I forget what I was saying. I'm still giggling about Leo Penis and John Penis. The Penis Brothers.
That's a good name. John Penis is a good one.
MM sends $2.99. Thanks for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Don't Shoot the Messenger says, I feel better eating animals raw. What about you? No, I think the whole raw thing is kind of... I mean, look, there's certain foods that are digested easily raw. Liver is nice raw. I like that raw. There's certain foods that I like raw. But, yeah, I'm not about to eat a ribeye raw. Like, that ribeye needs a nice sear. It's got to be, like, 2-inch thick ribeye. Nice sear on both sides. Ground beef. I'll make burgers. Like... These people, they're going to tell you, oh, you must eat it raw or you are doing it wrong. Like, of course, they're all ex-vegans and shit. They're all like raw vegans. And yes, raw can be good. Some people, look, if you get results raw, if it works for you, all good. But I'm not going to say, like, it's better for everyone. So that's rad that you like it. I like some of them raw, but it's not necessary for me. What do you think about that?
Like, raw sushi is amazing. I think it digests amazing, and it tastes good. Like, there's an actual... desire for it in your mouth, whereas like raw steak, I look at it and I don't really start salivating when I'm looking at raw steak. You know, if I'm really hungry, maybe, but I'd rather put some seasoning on it. I'd rather throw it on the grill for 10 minutes and then it's amazing. You know, I'd rather make it hyper palatable to myself rather than like barely palatable, you know? So like raw eggs, that I don't really look at raw egg and think that tastes amazing, but yet you throw it on the stove for 2 minutes and it's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Raw, like egg whites, like yolks, I like raw, right? I'll eat the yolk raw. Some people say that egg whites can interfere with the digestion of other certain nutrients, the absorption of like biotin can possibly be inhibited. Some people have an allergy to egg whites. They don't digest them that well, but cooking seems to help some of those people with eggs. So I think it just depends on the person, right? Like, it's not like, oh, everyone's got to do raw. But hey, if I have a ribeye, like, dude, I'm not gonna eat it raw unless I have no time at all to prepare it. I like it cooked.
You know, and actually, sometimes I've noticed that when I eat a steak almost too raw, I don't want to say the wrong thing here, but I have experienced some negative digestive episodes from eating.
There you go. So some
raw.
people might not do as well eating it raw as others, guys. So we don't. It's not a religion. We're just like, you do what works. That's what I like about most. That's what I like about most of the carnivores, right? Like, you don't have. There are some people out there who are, you know, mentally ill and deranged, but there are a lot of people who are just giving good advice, good information.
It's not for me, Frankie. I want you on my channel. Please don't think I'm here for the Frank jokes. Okay, I'm not here for the Frank jokes.
All right.
God.
All right.
All right.
No, but let's all be frank. Let me be frank right now. Let me be frank with you. All right.
I think
steak tartare. Some people like steak tartare. Yeah, there you go. Tartare is nice. Tartar's life, little bit of raw egg on that.
Yeah,
cool.
but the thing with tartar is it's always a small quantity. Like you're never gonna eat a pound of steak tartare.
Yeah.
It's gonna be at some restaurant. They're gonna give you like 4 ounces of it. Yeah, you could eat 4 ounces of beans and have pretty decent digestion, to be honest with you. But
yeah, if they're cooked
tartare,
properly.
you know, it's so little.
Yeah. So some people, they go through periods. Some people really like all raw. You know, some people swear by it. Like Derek. What's his last name? Derek Nance. Thank you, Jessica. Not Derek Simnet. Derek Nance. He likes it raw. He really likes it raw. So I don't know. I don't do it all raw.
Yeah, I'm not into the like the super bloody steak or anything like that. I mean, I like it simple. I just put Lowry seasoning on everything, and I get a nice crust on the outside. I like it, you know, nicely browned and caramelized. I especially like if there's a lot of fat on, like, let's say it's a ribeye. I like that fat to be really heated up and be like almost gooey, where it just like melts in your mouth. That's how I like it. To me, it tastes the best, and it digests great. So why would I not eat it that way? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that fat cap at the end of the ribeye, it's so nice when it's got a little crust on one side of it, and the inside's nice and soft. I really like it. But I think people make a mistake of, not to nitpick language here, but you know, when you eat a steak, you cut into it, all those juices inside. It's not actually blood. The blood's in the veins. What's in there, the juices, that's myoglobin. And when you cook it, those juices come out. But if you cut a steak open raw, nothing comes out, right? There's no juices, there's no liquid at all. It's actually, it's not blood, it's myoglobin, and it's these liquids that are inside the muscle tissue. A lot of it's water, different types of proteins in there, and yeah, so I don't know, just
sometimes you do get the vein though, and it does pop out with a bunch of blood out of the vein.
Sometimes if you have a ribeye or something, and if you have the bone that's been cut, you might see a little bit of blood coming out of there, but not the actual the meat in it.
What's up, Bart? Bart likes it when I'm talking sexy to him. All right.
What's up, Bart?
What's up, Barty?
Bart K in the chat. Boys and girls.
We got the big timers.
Hey, boys and girls. Got Bart K in the chat. We got Seeking Truth in Christ. What's up, dude? $2 super chat says, thoughts on bovine glandular for organ function. Look, if it works, it works, man. I mean, I don't think dried, like a few pills a day could make a difference. Could be interesting. I mean, try it out, man. You might be better rather than getting like, if you have access to fresh glandulars and you can make it yourself, you can get really affordably. And then there's stuff like Ancestral Supplements makes one, and a lot of people really like it.
See, that's the stuff I don't know anything about. Like people want to ask me about like this obscure glandular stuff and supplementation. I know nothing about that.
Thyroid can help a lot of people. Some people really like it. Some of these glandular mixes, people get really good results from. Kidneys actually.
Why would they use that?
You know, well, thyroid is going to provide you with some actual digestible thyroid hormone, right? So, I mean, you are looking at hormone-producing glands that have different nutrients in them, and I don't know. I mean, these are things that have not really been studied that deeply, but a lot of people do. And when you look at things like, I don't know, traditional Chinese medicine, they have this theory of like treats like, right? Like, so if you're trying to heal the kidneys, they say eat kidneys. Right? So there are concepts of this and ancient medicine practices and stuff. Not something that's been explored much as far as the scientific research goes. But hey, if it works for you, that's great. You know, I mean, I'm happy for it. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be a magic pill. Like if your gland, you have issues with thyroid, if you just eat some beef thyroid, it's going to completely resolve it, right? If you have poor sleep, if you have a messed up circadian rhythm, if you're not getting out in natural sunlight. Red light therapy has been used to improve hormone production and improve thyroid production too. So, there's aspects of like light exposure that will affect thyroid. So, yeah, thanks for the super chat, man. I'm sorry for babbling. Yeah. So let me come back here to the chat. See what's going on.
And we got another big super chat.
Where's that? Another super chat coming. There we go.
Alley
Cat. What's up, Allie? How's it going, Allie? $9.99 says, yesterday, a vegan who was selling supplements on Facebook tried to tell me that there are no foods that contain B12, and everyone needs these supplements. There you go. Well, that person should go help Matt Monarch sell his new B12 supplement that allegedly saved his life. It's funny how these vegans, they love to misdiagnose themselves, right? They're always misdiagnosing, constantly trying to figure out what's wrong with their health. And they don't ever think, oh, maybe it's my, shitty animal deficient diet.
No, it can never be that. And then always if if you leave the diet, they always say, "Did you see a vegan doctor? Did you see a vegan nutritionist?" Like, no, because I know the fucking vegan nutritionist is going to give me vegan information that's not going to work. Like, I specifically don't want to see that person. I want to go to somebody who's actually going to help me.
Dude, I mean, it's like, yeah, I've seen a vegan doctor. It looks like this. You want to fucking listen to this? Yeah.
I followed this guy's advice to a T. Like, I ate all of his foods. I ate huge quantities of the foods. If you guys want to see what I was eating as a vegan, go watch my last video. I put in like 30 pictures of food that I ate, and it was all massive portions. You got to realize some of these portions were over 3 pounds, 4 pounds of plant food in a single sitting, easily. Like, sometimes I would go to bed like usually 7 or 8 pounds heavier than I would wake up. Just all of that water weight would come out of me overnight. I would go pee like 2 or 3 times sometimes. It's crazy.
What time would you wake up to pee? Like 2, 3 in the morning?
Yeah, all the time. Because I'd be drinking water up until the point I went to bed because I was like trying to store the carbohydrates. Oh, here, you want to see a baby? A good baby?
Let me remove Dr. Gregor from the screen so I don't scare the baby.
Here you go. You guys have seen a cuter baby than this? Let me know.
Aw, what's up, girl? What's up, girl? Yeah, she got Drew eyes. She got the drewmorg eyes. What's up, baby? Uncle Drew.
How are you doing? She just came in to see me. She
Congrats,
just walked on
guys.
in here, huh?
Yeah, look, congrats on the family. Tell your brother I said congrats.
There you go. You can have her back.
Dude, that's so cool.
Shout out to Primal Edge Health. What up, bro?
Yeah, dude. What's up, big brother Morg?
Eat meat. This baby.
He's my little
meat
brother.
right here. This baby eats meat.
Meat feeding baby. There you go.
This is 5 months of breastfeeding only. 4 months.
Oh man, that's so cool.
100% breastfeeding.
You know that Dr. Gregor says that if you breastfeed your kid and you're eating meat, you're putting your child at risk for getting type 1 diabetes. He tried to say this on his Twitter.
Wait, what?
I'll pull the tweet up. Dr. Gregor said that. I mean, this is so ridiculous. Let me pull this up. While I'm doing it, maybe you can entertain the crowd or something. Let me find this.
No, there he's leaving, or he's stepping out the side.
All right, we got.
Where are you guys staying for a while? Okay, well.
Check this
see you guys
out,
in a
dude.
bit.
All right, I got it pulled up right here. Oops. All right, eating meat during breastfeeding. Oh, maybe we should read it in Dr. Gregor's voice. To do their Dr. Gregor, you have to be bobbling and walking on the treadmill. So, this is Dr. Gregor coming at you live from my treadmill. Eating meat during breastfeeding is associated with an increased risk of type 1 diabetes, perhaps as a consequence of meat glycotoxins and paratuberculosis bacteria that may be passed through breast milk.
I hope the audience heard that. I couldn't hear you.
You couldn't hear me? Oh, shoot. What's up? How's the audio, guys? We're a few seconds behind.
Audio check.
Audio
The exact cause of type 1 diabetes is unknown. I like how he has that little like pompous like. Though a genetic predisposition combined with exposure to such environmental triggers such as viral infection or cow's milk play a role. So he's saying that cow's milk could potentially. I don't understand what is even being said here.
This is classic Dr. Gregor, right? Where you don't even know what the hell this dude's saying, right? Eating meat during breastfeeding is associated with increased risk of type 1 diabetes, perhaps a consequence of meat glycotoxins or paratuberculosis bacteria that may be passed through breast milk. So who knows what he's even citing here. But when you think about this, right? Okay, eating meat during breastfeeding is associated with an increased risk of type 1 diabetes. Dude, everybody eats meat while they're breastfeeding. 98% of the population eats meat. Or what is it? 97% of the population eats meat.
So every tribal culture in the world would have basically been exposing their kid to type 1 diabetes while breastfeeding then?
Yeah, I guess.
Literally every culture that's ever been in the history of the universe that was eating meat was exposing their children to type 1 diabetes. That's how we developed.
Increased risk, bro. Increased risk. I mean, it's nonsense. It's like epidemiology, and they're using numbers and mathematical models to extrapolate this, and it's just complete nonsense. And of course, he throws in a couple. See, these vegans, they're suckers for this kind of shit, right? Glycotoxins.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, glycotoxins and paratuberculosis. Right, you hear this, and we talked in the Nick Diaz video the other day. He was saying the same shit, right? He was using the same durian writer talking points. It's got paratuberculosis in it. The milk and the meat's gonna kill you. But
gotta get close to the mic, dog.
Dude. How dishonest is he? But you can't hear me? My microphone's good, man.
Yeah, it's cutting in and out. At least for me, I don't know if the audience can hear you.
Oh, that's weird. Hey, audience, how's my mic?
It's the noise gate is cutting you out. I don't know if it's
Oh, I know what it is.
Zoom or if it's
Zoom.
Ah, okay.
Let me come up here. And the problem is, remember I changed that one setting and it made the volume a little bit better for.
Oh, okay.
It made it better for watching.
It's just on my end, guys. Sorry, because we're using a different program.
Yeah, but
I do want to say something to Bart K said to piggyback onto your point, how the vegans are suckers for numbers and charts and pyramids and stupid shit. So Bart K just made a video I watched the other day. Shout out to Bart. He said that the hierarchy of evidence that vegans fall for that they put in front of your face. Number one, there's different hierarchies of evidence that vegans throw out there. So there's different hierarchies in every area of science. So there's not even one generalized hierarchy of evidence. Number one. Number two, in what world does expert opinion and surveys rank higher than mechanistic data? Literally, mechanistic data is the most granular way that we can find out exactly how something functions and works in nature, a phenomenon that we're studying. That is the best explanation that we have mechanistically to explain how it works, which is very high level information. Yet they're saying that surveys on most of the hierarchies of evidence that vegans provide, the survey is a more reliable piece of data than a mechanistic data. That doesn't make any sense. That's so stupid. It's like asking 100 people in the street, do you feel good on eating pork or beans? Yes or no? And it's like, do that 100 times. Like, that's going to be more valuable than some scientists in a lab testing super stringent variables. No way.
Someone says the audio's fine, and then someone says you're not stuttering enough. They're talking about the Dr. Greger. Yeah, I forgot. You gotta throw in a little bit of a stutter, and eating meat. Gotta throw in a few of those.
Well,
throw a few seizures in there, and you got Dr. Greger.
How are people following that guy? Really insane. How has he? What crazy world we live in? He has become the poster child for vegan health.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
He's the vegan doctor.
It's the internet, dude. It's YouTube, right? It's the mental illness beauty pageant. Whoever is the most mentally ill gets the most attention. Dr. Greger is just a magnet, dude. He's a magnet.
But sometimes things make sense. Like if you look at Thomas DeLauer, for instance, steroided out of his mind.
I don't know about steroided out of his mind, but he says he's natural. Just in his defense, I don't know.
Okay, well, in the real, okay, whatever. Moving on. He whatever.
Allegedly.
He's natural. Okay. All the vegan bodybuilders are natural too.
Yeah.
So anyway, I get that. Like if the vegans want to follow good-looking, aesthetically attractive people, John Venus, Brian Turner, these guys who have amazing physiques, and they want to say, I want to do what that guy's doing. I get that. It doesn't mean it's right. I'm just saying I get that. But Dr. Greger, what are you seeing in this? Like, what are you seeing in this guy?
I gotta pull.
I don't understand that.
I mean, what are you not seeing in him? Like, have you looked into his
What am I
eyes?
not seeing? What am I missing here? What is there something wrong with me? I don't understand. Wow.
I mean, they say that if you say Dr.
That's the guy.
Greger, if you go in the bathroom and you look in the mirror and you say Dr. Greger 10 times and you have a candle lit and it's totally black, he shows up and he tries to give you a bowl of salad like this.
Mike the vegan got a little bit bummed at me actually recently because he came on my channel. He actually gave me his phone number. We're actually text buddies, Mike the vegan.
Mike the vegan.
Which I thought was pretty cool of him.
Wow.
And he's like, man, I thought we were cool, Drew. Like, you're talking shit on me. Like, I wasn't. The things that I said to him, I can't remember what it was. I'm sorry if I am now ruining this, but I was just commenting like he doesn't look healthy. I said he looks gray. Like the
You're trying to help this dude. You're trying to help.
I'm trying to help this guy. He was saying, okay, I remember what it was now. I was commenting on somebody else's comment saying, hey, the irony of Mike the vegan calling somebody else yellow or gray or whatever is very, very odd to me, because he's like known as the yellow vegan guy. And he's like, oh, I see you're just fake like these other ex-vegans. You just wanted me on your show, and I thought we were cool, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, that wasn't something I wouldn't say to you. Like, you are known as the yellow vegan guy.
I thought because I private messaged you and you're nice to me that you could never criticize me and I'm safe now. Come on, dude. These people, what does he want? What does he even want by contacting you? Like, is he going to come on your channel? Is he going to come on my channel?
I mean,
Mike
he did once.
He came on? You talked to him?
Yeah, he came on with Chris Kruger. They had a little impromptu debate.
Okay.
They both came on there, and it was I don't know if it was the most productive debate ever. I mean, Chris held his ground, of course, and he's got the results. You look at Chris Kruger, 6'2", athletic dude, looks super healthy, square ass jaw, looks super fit, performs well. He's 10 years.
Is he ex-vegan?
No, never. He's never vegan. He's more on the keto. He calls himself keto adjacent. So he's more on the side of like, hey, animal products good. The more the better. The higher the cholesterol, the better. Yeah. And he has the results to back it up. He's big.
Okay, so
he's
like
strong, he feels good.
low carb approach, meat centric diet, non-vegan.
Yes.
Not an ex-vegan.
And not an ex-vegan. And then Mike was on there, trying to hold his ground, saying that there's no evidence of this and that. It's like, but you look at Mike and you look at Chris Kruger and you say, like, let's compare here. Like, who's got the results? Who's a better performer in life in general? Chris is 10 years older than him. Chris has a kid. Like, he just had a kid. He just had another kid. I don't know. It's weird. Like, we got to have some parameters to, I guess, determine what healthy means and what high performance means. And everybody's got a different...
Vegans are like, look, this is amazing. Check me out. I'm going to vlog. I'm vegan, and I can still brush my teeth. Look,
exactly.
I'm vegan.
Anything you do as a vegan is amazing.
I'm a vegan, and I can tie my... You think vegans are weak and dumb? I can tie my shoes. I'm Mike the vegan. Yeah, these people are... This guy, Mike the vegan, he's one of the most inflammatory anti-vegan. Like, he's one of those guys who's been shaming people for leaving veganism for the last, 2 years. There he goes. All this climate crisis nonsense that he pushes out. Mike the vegan is the quintessential Western degenerate soy boy. Like, look at this guy.
When I saw that last video, I eat 4 to 5 eggs a day. And then his title is increase your mortality by 80%. It's just like, really, dude? Like, you're really buying into that old crap still, that eating 4 eggs a day is going to increase your mortality by 80%? You're just going to buy blatantly right into that?
He doesn't buy into it. These people are so... It's dishonesty. And he is dishonest. He's intellectually dishonest, and he's a shitty propagandist, right? I mean, these people do so much to discredit their own message that all you have to do is just play clips sometimes. I mean, him interviewing Dr. Greger is one of my favorite clips ever. Like, that's just him fawning, Mike the vegan fawning over Dr. Greger. Like, he looked like he was about to cry. Like, his knees were, shaking. Like, Dr. Greger, you probably get a lot of people tell you this, but you're really amazing, Dr. Greger. He's like, my voice is literally shaking right now, Dr. Greger. That's the funniest clip.
No way. Was it like that? Did he really do that?
Well, all right, let's search. Let's find it. Obviously,
I think Mike the vegan isn't going down with the ship.
You think eventually?
I'll
well,
tell
the
you
fact
that,
that he DMs you tells me that the dude's like he's probably something's bugging his conscience. The fact that he's talking with you at all. So check out.
He's a little too smart for the vegan good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, he's somebody who has seems to look. He looks like somebody who maybe in high school or something when he's 17, 18, before he got on this vegan malnutrition thing. He looks like long and lanky. Looks like he could have been pretty athletic. Maybe been like a pitcher or something. Maybe was I don't know. Probably pretty fast. Maybe could have played soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. He looks like a dude that genetically probably would be pretty strong. But look what he's done to himself. I mean, it's just
I agree with
the
that.
gauntness, the paleness. It's like, dude, we don't want these people to suffer, right? And we don't want them to influence other people to suffer more and unnecessarily. And we're out here speaking out against the shitty advice they give. It's like, I think it would be great if Mike the vegan would, put on his big boy pants and eat real human foods again and admit that he's wrong. But it seems like a lot of these people that don't I don't know. It seems like it's probably not going to happen. They make like his whole. Look at this, 148,000 views on this video, 336,000 subs. He's making cheddar from YouTube, right? He's getting the Patreon donations. His whole life is built on that, foundation of sand, house of cards, glass house of cards that is veganism.
Once that happens, like once somebody makes the money, they're locked into that thing most of the time.
Yep.
They're going to at least do the very most that they can to protect that stance.
Yeah.
Because it would behoove them to stay in that groove. Like, why would you leave the thing that's paying you?
Right.
If even if you experience really bad, there's people out there like the Yovanas, the Raw Alignments, the other people who are big YouTubers that made their whole foundation on people as a vegan YouTuber or whatever. These people are the ones risking it all to then come out publicly and say, "Oh, I'm not doing this anymore." And then people are the ones they're getting the most hate, which is really crazy because there's people that are not getting good results that are basically not telling you that they're suffering behind the scenes because they're getting paid. They don't want to leave they don't want to leave their social circle. Don't want to leave their position of influence, their status. Real Bobby has a wrench, guys. Come on now.
Yeah, that's not real Bobby. Doorman says, I can't send a super chat. Anyone else having this issue? People have been sending super chats. Sorry to hear
Refresh
that.
the page, guys. Refresh the page.
Yeah, try to refresh and see if that helps. Maybe you're not signed in on your account, right? Make sure you're signed in.
What
if
what is the next, what is the next set of topics that we could discuss with this whole thing? Like where are we right now with the whole vegan carnivore,
dude? It's like I know why you
scene?
left for 4 months. I wanted to talk about this. I know why you left for 4 months. The battle's over. Like vegan YouTube is completely discredited. These people have discredited themselves in so many ways. All the ones who have a shred or who at that moment, which was last year when a lot of this really came to a head, when we were having Tim Sheaf came on the show, Elise came on the show, loads of ex-vegans. You had the Ravana thing that went down. You have all these prominent vegan YouTubers leaving the movement, exposing these idiots for what they are. You have people like Mike the Vegan trying to shame them and make up excuses for why they left, why they what it was that they did wrong and shame these people. And then you had all you have left are the ones who are going to go down with the ship, right? You have the ones that are left are just really dumb, dishonest, most of them, right? You got the Penis brothers, like Leo Penis and John Penis. You have Henge Herbivore. Like, I mean, what's there to really do? So I understand why you might even lose interest in battling this whole vegan thing, because on YouTube, the battle's already been won. Now, that doesn't mean that the bigger picture battle's won, right? You have mainstream media, you have Netflix, you got billions of dollars going into pushing all this processed, refined, junk food kibble on us. So, that's still going on. But I totally relate to you just saying, you know what, the battle's done. Like, what am I going to say at this point?
Yep. I think that where I'm going to have to take my stuff now is addressing directly the vegans that are at the end stage veganism and helping them get over the finish line.
Yeah.
That's going to be my focus, is helping those people that are like wheezing along, struggling, that just can't make that last little decision that they want to go buy that steak. Those are the people that I want to help influence and help them make that last decision, because they already want to. I think
there's going to be a new wave too. Like, right, you had these things kind of go in cycles, right? You had the calm before the storm. You got the storm, like now we've got a little calm these days. The Game Changers just came out, so these people, they have this false sense of superiority now. Look, the Game Changers came out. We're vindicated. Like, yeah. So I don't know. We might see a resurgence. You see doubling down, right? Like Mike the Vegan, for instance. You mentioned somebody who's suffering, who needs, who's reaching end stage veganism. Maybe these guys will be the next ones to go. They'll have to hopefully set themselves up as far as their career goes to where they can pivot and do something else, do something real,
right?
Other than promoting their false ideology of veganism. So yeah, I hope. I hope that people change I hope that we see a change, right? I hope that we see more of these vegan YouTubers who did double down coming out, and I think you're doing a good job of providing a bridge for them. There's some super chats.
Yeah, that's what I want to do, and then also I probably have to sort of prove something. I think I am putting on weight right now, so which is really good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you do look bigger.
Along.
You look like you actually made gains in the last like 6 months. You were talking about gains for years, not making them, and it looks like you're getting some now. Where's the weight at now? You were what, 145 last time we talked?
Yeah, I was waking up at like 143 every day. Like
Okay.
I couldn't move the freaking scale.
But when
So
you're
now
trying to
I've
gain
finally
weight,
gained.
here's a secret for all you listening. If you're trying to lose weight, you weigh yourself in the morning when you're lightest. If you're trying to gain weight, absolute heaviest, that's when you weigh yourself and you tell yourself you're making progress.
And so, yeah, I want to gain weight. I want to gain like the standardized like 2 pounds a month or so, 2 to 3 pounds a month if I can. And then I want to just share that journey and be like, hey, I'm doing this with a mostly animal food diet. I feel good still, and I'm not doing any supplements whatsoever. Like that's a big part of my stance is no supplementation whatsoever, because I don't think that you need it.
Yeah.
If you're eating the right foods. And somebody, you got a big old super chat.
Yeah, let me read these super
Actually, can I
chats.
take this one?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, for sure. Let me just Calitarian sent $2. I know you're always sending super chats. Thanks a lot, Calitarian. Appreciate it. Doorman360 figured it out. Sends a big thumb up, and I return the big thumb up with 2 thumbs up. Thanks for the super chats. And then yeah, you take that next one, that $20 super chat.
Doorman360, thank you for the big 20 to our boy Primal Edge Health. Big support. I love that. He says, hi, Tristan. Do you have any streams on the Seventh-day Adventists? I heard you bring them up before. I have family who will follow them, and I would like to chip away at that nonsense. Thanks for all you do. God bless. I have one statement for that person and a link for them, and it will shut down everything that he needs to discuss with this family. This is it.
And I do have a stream on that.
Show them
Belinda Fettke.
Show them that link, and Tristan's got a link for you as well.
Cool.
Show them that link. That shows that Loma Linda, Blue Zone, freaking people eat what? Over 15%, 16, 17% of their diet comes from animal food. So there you go. There's
Bam.
if they're vegan, thinking that the Blue Zone, Loma Linda people are vegans, also they are completely wrong. 16% of their diet comes from animal foods. Right there on the chart from the Blue Zone's website. So there's no arguing that.
All right, so then also another good resource, you can check out this one, Belinda Fettke, Eat Lancet Commission Pushes for Global Vegan Dietary Policy, Who Benefits? We get into a lot of the Seventh-day Adventist stuff in that talk there. And I think I might have Belinda on again to just go deeper into the Seventh-day Adventist stuff, because I actually know she's very, very clever. She's real hip to what's going on, and she really knows a lot more about some of these deeper issues, these deeper global issues with the push of veganism and with the Seventh-day Adventists behind it. I think it's really interesting that the Seventh-day Adventists come from like these Millerite Freemasonic groups from the 1800s who have a history of making false predictions of the end of the world, right? They come out of the Millerite groups. So yeah, I mean,
everybody into thinking the world's gonna end, and then they can get power.
There's just been loads of these Protestant groups that have done this over the years, and it's also interesting that Seventh-day Adventism was propped up really heavily through guys like Rockefeller. Rockefeller used to go to the sanitarium, and oh, dude, you know what else is real crazy? The Sanitarium Inc. Let's see if I have this one. Nope. Okay, I restarted the computer, so I don't have it opened up. Never mind, because this ties in with the Lord Birkenhead article, but we'll talk about that in another stream. So, yeah, check out the link that Drew just dropped. Drew, could you do me a favor, please, and send that link to me in Skype so I can put it in the show notes?
Yeah.
And I'll put this Belinda Fettke one in the show notes as well. I'll send this over to the other half of Primal Edge Health.
Because my Skype is busted.
All right. And then I'll just come up and Zoom. I'll have to copy this from the Zoom chat. All right. So thanks for the super chats, guys. Always nice to get them super chats from you. Look at how the time flies when I talk to Drew. I always love having Drew on the channel here. One of the favorite guests here for the bigots at Primal Edge Health stream.
Taylor Marshall. Why does that name sound familiar? Oh, it's a guy. Okay.
Of course, if you guys got any questions, if you guys do want to take this in a Q&A direction, we will answer super chats. We always answer the super chats, so we want to thank everyone for supporting the channel here. 100% of those proceeds for the super chats will be used to feed growing human babies, growing human children, and to further spread animal husbandry and spread the message here about proper use of animal foods, the necessity of animal foods, and this will all be used to attack this nonsense global agenda to destroy our food supply, our food sovereignty, and our ability to feed ourselves and our families. So we're gonna use this directly to further discredit all this nonsense and degeneracy we see out there. So thanks, guys. Oh, you bigots
Love
out
it.
there. Oh, y'all bigots. Do you want to watch the clip of
Great
Mike the Vegan
message.
that I was laughing about earlier, where he's talking to Gregor? Let's tell me if you think he's fawning over him, or am I just being, I don't know, am I just kind of milking it for lulz?
Let me see this.
Here we are. Finally, I'm talking to Dr. Michael Greger of Nutrition Facts. So excited to finally meet you. So we have a trillion questions that we could ask the master of Nutrition Facts. But, you know, we're not going to be able to ask all the questions we would ever dream of asking.
Oh, it gets better, dude. It gets better.
First of all, I just want to give a major, major thank you to just all the work that you've done over the years, and just sort of all of the, obviously, sacrifices in time and so forth that you made to get all of that content out and just keep it going. Let's just start with the goofy ones. Someone says, when are you bringing back the beard? And I see that you're already bringing back the beard, so this is like an early release.
I did it for them.
You did it for them, yeah. See, this is what happens when you pressure people.
Psychic powers. That's one of the, people don't think about that with plant-based diets, but that's one of the perks.
When is that video coming? I want to see the research.
Yeah. You should know by now.
All right, so we have a bunch of sort of just general nutrition.
Weird, goofy and weird. I'm down with it so far.
There's a part when he asks him about why he's not a real doctor, or how he's not a real doctor, is really funny. I think that's coming up. Well, obviously, we're not going to watch 30 minutes of this. Don't worry, guys.
You catch him off guard with it? Like, is he like, why are you asking? Why are you asking me this, Mike?
It's just
I thought
funny
we were friends.
the way that he asks it. Hopefully, I can find the clip. I think it's next.
Questions that might as well hit you with first. And some of them have to do with, you're obviously into the Whole Foods thing. I'm into the Whole Foods thing. And people are always wondering, they're always asking me, like, how much oil can you get away with without an issue?
That's not the question.
That's a good question, actually. That is a good question. What is their answer to that?
Yeah,
if I have to put down...
Like, how much oil? This is fat, right? You need fat. You're constantly craving fat. You remove animal foods from the diet, which is the natural source of fat that we're meant to eat. The fat that's the most bioavailable, that has all the vitamins and minerals we require, that has all the fat-soluble vitamins we need. That's why these vegans are always craving fat. But they tell themselves that it's really bad. So let's hear what Gregor has to say about oils, which is basically a substitute for real animal fats.
Just a little bit in a pan. What's the oil? They're always so. What's your answer there?
Someone put a gun to my head and forced me to. Yeah, I know. It's so funny.
It's funny.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, there's certainly less healthy oils than more healthy oils. Yeah, certainly it's all about quantity. If you had to do an oil, some unrefined oil like extra virgin olive would probably be best. And normally I'd say, but better to eat the whole food. Although the problem with olives is because they're brined in salt, then you have a sodium issue with the whole food. So
all these essential nutrients. God. Salt is bad. Oil's bad. Animal foods are bad. You're literally starving. You're starving. I hate the word literally, but veganism is starvation.
Dude, that's insane. I pile so much salt in my food now, and it only is better. Like,
well,
the
dude,
more salt, the better. The way that I look at it.
You need it, man. If you're sweating a lot, if you're doing heavy workouts, you need freaking salt. I mean, you look like you don't have enough salt, Dr. Greger. You look like you don't have enough fat in the diet. But at least he said, olive oil. Olive oil is not so bad. At least he didn't say grapeseed oil or one of these highly refined, or canola oil or something. Let's hear what else he says, though.
But certainly instead of walnut oil, you can eat the walnuts yourself and then get the fiber and all the fat soluble
associated with it.
Listen to how many words he mispronounces too. He said farber instead of fire. You got to order a farber. It's like, I can't even see if he can get a whole sentence in without mispronouncing a word or slurring half a word off.
Nutrients.
Yeah.
Whole foods always a better way to go, but one of the problems with the refined oils, like something that just says vegetable oils, typically a soybean oil, is the process by which you actually refine. Like when you make corn oil, you think corn. It's like, wait a second, I can see walnut oil, but where's
like
the oil? Where's the
fat
fat in corn? There ain't a lot of it. So you do these kind of harsh chemical treatments that can actually create a few % of trans fat. So normally we think of.
All right. Whatever. I'll agree with them. I don't promote.
But
plant
the
oil.
omega
I don't eat
6,
plant
the
oil.
omega 6 levels, like you're gonna say just the refining makes it bad. But what about all the omega 6 in these oil? Corn oil,
Right.
soy oil, loads of omega 6, very inflammatory. Come on, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Agreed.
Kind of
It's
brush
no
that
good.
under the rug.
Even now to this day, like I prefer to eat without oil as well, especially cooked oil. There's nothing
Yeah.
there for you that's
I
going
ain't
to be
putting oil
beneficial.
in my food, man.
Just eat
Butter.
animal oil, fat oil.
Right, butter. I love butter. Butter is my go-to fat.
Ribeye steak fat. I mean, why would you eat anything else? What else do you need?
Have you gotten a chance to get sheep suet yet? You ever get sheep fat? Throw that on the side of a steak?
Nah, I'm kind of lazy, man. And plus, the butchers around here, they're all there's no real butchers around here. They're all like, I don't even delicacy butchers that are like $40 a ribeye pound or something like that. Like you can't just roll up to these people. There's not like your neighborhood butcher that he's just like hacking stuff up and handing it out for $2 a pound.
Yeah,
it's
that's
all
what's
like
nice about the third world. the
Instagram
so-called
butchers,
third
you know, like
world.
these.
Yeah. Here you
I
just.
wish I had some.
Here you get cheap cuts of that stuff. You can get the suet. It's real nice. Sheep suet's nice. Sheep fat's real good. I can't even read your name, dude. Ich mais du nicht. With a German name. Ich mais du nicht. Du nicht? Is night? Is that night? I don't know. Sorry for butchering the name, but I really appreciate the super chat, man. Sending $5.49. I think that's euros, the symbol. What do you think about Dave Asprey? Good question. Dave Asprey. All right. Well, Dave Asprey, we've been talking about like veganism here. Dave Asprey is a proponent of low carbohydrate diets, lowish carbohydrate diets, which I like. You know, he promotes eating meat, which I like. Things that I would critique would be his like the transhumanism stuff, the biohacking, transhumanism stuff that he's really into. Not a fan. All the supplements, taking 100 supplements and think you're going to live forever. Ridiculous, I think. So the fact that he eats meat, I think, is a good thing. That's what I have to say about Dave Asprey. What about you, Dave? I'm sorry, Drew. What do you...
I don't know much about him. I thought he was a quack when I first heard him on like Rogan and other things years ago.
Yeah.
What I can tell you is I went to his restaurant in LA recently, this year, and it was everything on that menu was trash. I mean, I ate the thing on there that sounded the healthiest. It was so oily. It had this. Instead of just using a freaking gluten tortilla or whatever they did, they used some crazy concoction like some sort of gluten-free tortilla that was.
I hate gluten-free
so hard
stuff,
to
dude.
digest.
This gluten-free stuff, you're gonna
Worse
like
than
this.
gluten.
Dude. I would rather all right. I'm gonna digest a piece of like so. I got a buddy who has a French bakery. I can digest something from him way better than some freaking quinoa or lentils or chickpeas. And I'm not gluten sensitive that I know, but I do know if I eat too much, if I have bread 2 days in a row, I'm gonna feel shitty, right? So I don't do it very much. I stay away from the grains. But dude, don't give me a gluten-free pizza. Like if I my friends and family, if I'm coming over to your house, make me real pizza. I'll eat it. I'll humor you if I'm feeling good. I'm feeling up to it. Don't make me the damn gluten-free stuff, please.
Yeah, so that meal just made me feel terrible. I was super tired afterwards, and it gave me terrible gas. Terrible gas. And so that like was off-putting to me.
Yeah.
And I also want to say what you said about the life hacking. I actually have a video that I want to make, and it's going to be titled "You Can't Life Hack Real Health." The whole concept of life hacking is just stupid. It's people wanting to take shortcuts to things that cannot be shortcutted. There will always be real hard work to anything that's very valuable, because those things are all staples, like having a fit, healthy body. If people would have figured out how to biohack that a long time ago, that would have already been done,
There's just
These
the renaming,
concepts have been around forever.
It's like biohacking is just this way of putting fancy language around doing normal things. Like they call, you're going out in the sun, or it's like, I'm biohacking, I'm getting, photobiomodulation therapy from the solar rays, I'm converting them into energy through my mitochondria, so it's biohacking. It's like, I'm biohacking, check me out, dude. I'm out here interfacing with this four-legged mammalian creature called a dog, and I'm biohacking my health by playing with a dog. It's just like all this, it's so stupid. I think a lot of it's just really kind of gay. But, look.
social media culture, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's marketing. So Dave Asprey eats meat. That's good. I hate the word biohacking. I'll say that too. Biohacking as a word, it's a social engineering term to market transhumanism to people as a health hack. Right? You're gonna hack your body. Your body's just a computer, bro. Might as well update the hardware. Let's fucking put some brain chips in. Let's get Neuralink and biohack our brain. No, not into it. So that aspect sucks. Other aspects, kind of cool, but overall, he's a great marketer. He's good at his business, and he made a lot of money, and he made his investors happy. Now,
when you buy your own bullshit, when you buy into your own bullshit, you're going to be an amazing salesperson. If you're crazy enough to think what you're selling is legitimate, even though it's total crap, and you never listen to anybody about the negatives of it, you never listen to criticism, you just say they're just like haters that should be completely phased out of my mind and they don't exist. I'm going to focus on the people who do like my stuff, even if it's in the minority. You can be a very financially successful person in this world. That's just the way it works.
There you go. Psycho Magnet. What's up, Psycho Magnet? Nice name. Sends 5. Is that euros or is that pounds? What's that symbol there, Drew?
That's pounds.
That's pounds. Send them pounds. 5 pounds. You guys have not had your currency devaluated like much of the world over there in England. The Bank of England and the oligarchs over there are very nice with your pound, and it's always worth more than the dollar. So thanks for the super chat, dude. 5 pounds is way better than $5, isn't it? Enjoying your live stream, guys. Go buy yourself something tasty and meaty. Appreciate it, dude. Much appreciated, man. Okay. Let's see what else. What else are we going to talk about today, man? We've done a couple hours here. I mean, I could keep talking to you for a long time, man. I'm feeling good today. I got actually got 10 hours of sleep last night because the night before I did 3 hours of radio or YouTube, and then I did 2 hours of radio late night on the Boiler Room talking about all sorts of crazy shit, and I just crashed yesterday. I was going to stream yesterday, but I decided to push it back to today. But I slept 10 or 11 hours last night. I think I went to bed at 11:30 and I woke up at 9:30. So I'm good. I can keep going.
I have a kind of an interesting concept for people in the chat because you got a smart audience, so it's something that they would kind of geek out on and enjoy.
They're really susceptible to flattery too. They're also very good looking, our audience.
Definitely.
Very good looking, very smart.
You got another super chat before I get into this.
All right, yeah. How old do you think a human can live? He says. I mean, it seems like 100 years. It's not really worth living much beyond that at this point, right? It seems like there's kind of there's a limit there, ain't there? I think about 100 years.
I think 110 is probably how long can humans live? Who's the oldest, longest living human? That's how long they can live.
Yeah, there's some people who
all
claim
these people saying you can. What's up?
I was gonna say there's some people who claim that they made it to 130, but a lot of them don't have birth certificates, right? So in a lot of these areas, like the blue zones, right? The blue zones, there's a lot of fraud in the blue zones about age too. Birth certificates were not being given in most of the world, 100 years ago, so it's hard to know. But yeah, 120, dude. Have you ever been around a 90-year-old person? It's not that fun to be 90, right? So it's like by the time you get that old, the deterioration, it really settles in. And I mean, my grandma, she reached 90. And she was in the hospital. She fell. She hurt her hip, and then she was in and out of the hospital for a little bit. And she got to a point where she stopped eating, and she said, "Let me go."
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that you can be there's possibly, if you have the best diet ever, and you have good genetics, you could possibly be a pretty mobile 100-year-old. But you're not going to be you're past 120. I mean, let's be realistic here. You're those post 100 years are not going to be pretty.
And these transhumanists, they think that they're going to figure out how to stop the biological clock, right? They're going to figure it out. We're going to this has been happening forever. People have been selling this idea that you're going to live forever through technology, through this or that, or through doing whatever our little cult tells you, that you're not going to die, right? It's the same old lie that the serpent gave us in the garden, right? You're going to live forever. You're not going to die. Here, eat this fruit. Right, eat this fruit. Give you the secret knowledge, the hidden knowledge. Right, this occult knowledge is going to get you to the next level. You're going to be an ascended master, like Vegan Gains and Mike the Vegan and Dr. Greger. If you just eat a vegan diet, you will never die. It's the same old snake oil sales pitch. We're all dying, and shit. I would love to make it to 100. I would love to be lucid, walking around, mobile, and active and strong at 100. I don't want to be, you know, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's hard to say what the limit is for me, but man, knowing people that were 90 and seeing what it was like at 90, it's hard to say that I want to live to 120. But I don't want to die.
So I'll ask you and I'll ask your audience. Audience, everybody, get ready to type your answer because I want to see this pop up in the chat. Okay, here's the question. What do you think causes stomach ulcers? What do you think causes stomach ulcers? I want you guys to write it out right now.
There you go.
Answer as quickly as possible. What do you think, Tristan? What causes stomach ulcers?
Stomach ulcers. You know. What causes? I don't know. There'd be different situations, right? A lot of people get ulcers after they've had a lot of stress, right? So low stomach acid production might come into play when you have a lot of stress. Low stomach acid production can exacerbate. There's certain bacteria that we know that can cause ulcers, or it depends where the ulcer is. I think there's gonna be different situations, but I'll let the audience answer this, and we'll see where you go with this.
Okay, so
but Dr. Greger would say that I guess like breast milk or any animal foods, those cause ulcers.
Okay. So here's the beauty of this very simplistic question here. Okay, so we got probably 10 different answers. You yourself threw stress out as the first one, right? About half of the people said stress. Some people said fiber. Some people
said cum. Some said H. pylori, plants. What else? Any other funny ones?
Feces, inflammation, excess weight, low stomach acid. Somebody said too much acid.
Climate change. Okay. I know it's climate change. That's what it is.
So check this out. We know exactly why ulcers are created. We know exactly why. And the people who said H. pylori or bacteria are 100% correct. Yeah. It is.
But
that
you
is
can
the
have
only
a stressor.
reason.
You can have a stressor, environmental or emotional, that makes you more vulnerable to that. All of us have some of these bacteria in us too, though, right? Like candida, it's everywhere.
Here's the thing. I researched this the other day.
Yeah.
So what is the point of this? Okay, I'm bringing this up because you see modern day how contested this simple question is. Yeah. This is something that is proven. In 2005, 2 Australian doctors proved that ulcers are created from H. pylori bacteria, okay? Yeah. That is the only reason that ulcers exist. So much so the fact that they said ulcers can't even be studied in Australia anymore because for years they were already working in this field and they created they knew the antibiotic that killed that bacteria, that particular strain. So they said that ulcers couldn't even be studied in Australia anymore because they killed the bacteria that created the ulcers. So in 2005, these 2 doctors won a Nobel Prize, and to prove their experiment, they drank the toxic chemical concoction, the bacterial concoction that gives you ulcers, just to prove their point. They gave themselves ulcers, and then they cured it, and they won a Nobel Prize for this whole shebang. So 2005, that's 14 years ago. You'd think that we would all have this information by now. It would spread throughout the world. Yet, if you go on Google right now and you type in what causes ulcers, you're still going to see a 50-50 like delineation of maybe it's stress, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. No, it's not. It's stomach, it's bacteria.
But stomach ulcers, right? Because what about like when you said ulcers, I'm also thinking ulcerative colitis, or you've got ulcers in the gut, you got ulcers in the colon. I guess that's different. They're talking about stomach ulcers exclusively, right?
I believe it's peptic ulcers. I believe
peptic ulcers. Yeah, right. Okay.
There's ways to get more crazy with it. Like, okay, well, maybe there's something in your intestine, but the standard ulcer, which is what people think that Tums treats. You eat Tums, and they think that that's what
they're reducing the stomach acid.
Coats your stomach,
and then it wrecks their digestion.
That's not what it is. So there's billion-dollar industries around things that don't even cure the thing we already have. We already know what the cure is. We know what the fucking cure is.
Yeah.
You cure the bacteria. You don't have ulcers anymore. Dead. Done. No more stomach ulcers. Yet, Tums and all this other stuff, Pepsid AC and all this crap that's built on a billion-dollar industry. Still the general public, 50% of you guys out there. Trust me, I didn't know. This wasn't trying to make you guys look dumb. I didn't know either.
You guys are idiots in the chat. If you didn't know this, I'll say
the way that I researched this.
No.
So bringing this into veganism and health in general, now you take a much more complex subject such as food and nutrition, and you have vegans out there who think that they have it pegged down to one thing, yet there's things that are already proven. We know that animal foods and high-fat foods are good for your body and good for your brain. We know that.
Necessary.
Studied.
Not just good.
It's
absolutely necessary if you don't want to eat nothing but supplements and processed powder.
Exactly. So there's the things that are proven scientifically or whatever you want to call it. There's still people out there who don't know what.
But just throwing this out there. Just throwing this out there. When you say, all right, so H. pylori proven to cause stomach ulcers, that doesn't necessarily mean that's the only cause, right? There could be other things that could cause.
You could have a weakened immune system that then allows the H. pylori in.
Yeah.
But people think that stress, like let's say you have a bad day at work and you're fucking stressed out, your boss is yelling at you, oh, you're gonna keel over, oh, my ulcers. That's not what.
There's someone in the chat though. Check it out. Someone in the chat says my husband had ulcers and had an H. pylori test, and other tests he didn't have any bacteria. So there.
Okay.
I'm with you. I'm with you on. I'm not sure if he fixed them. Hopefully he did. He thinks his stomach ulcers are from the low dose aspirin the doctor had him on for heart disease.
Okay. So sorry. Take that back. Yes, bacteria, and there's like an asterisk to it. Taking aspirin that will destroy your stomach walls. That is also a known thing. So
there could be other things that are causing it. That's all I'm saying. Like I wouldn't say. Yeah. I think like scientifically, it'd be an unscientific statement to say that we know because H. pylori causes ulcers. Therefore, that's the only cause of ulcers, right? That it's a logical conclusion I wouldn't jump to. But I'm with you on the fact that like why don't more people know this? Why isn't this more common? Why is this more common knowledge?
Even if there's the small case that these ulcers are caused by other things, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
But I'm just saying that these two gentlemen, not that long ago, 2005, you would figure that's like recent information that should be, okay, we all know that this is how it works now. 99% of the time, right? Or 95% of the time, whatever. A high statistical situation that it's probably caused by a bacteria. Yet, it's still not widely known thing. Yeah. So information spreads at different rates, depends on who wants to get that information, who wants to spread that information. It's things that are obvious and things that are proven that we know about. Like now I would say that the world should know that this is what causes ulcers, right? Like
the world should 95% of the time. The world should know that you need fat. The world should know you need animal foods. But the longer we go with all this propaganda, people can be told, no. No,
and the vegan doctors are trying to rewrite it and pretend like this stuff isn't already known. Yeah. Like we already know this information. It doesn't need to be restudied. Yet there's somebody out there with some sort of agenda that's trying to poke a hole in it, and they'll take that one case and they'll make it something large. You see what I'm saying?
They blow it out.
I tried to work that out in my brain. I hope that made sense. It was a little confusing for me to explain that thing, but I hope you guys are seeing what I'm getting with that point, because it's an interesting thing that is now known, and yet there's people out there trying to rewrite what is known, and that's what I feel like the vegans are doing. I hope that point carries over. I could have probably made it a little better, admittedly, but I'm starting to get a little hungry right now, and I get a little wacky when I'm hungry. So,
well, you're undercarbed, man. You're undercarbed.
I'm undercarbed.
You need more carbs. And carb the fuck out. All right. Speaking of carbs, speaking of gains, you mentioned you did make some gains. What are you weighing right now again?
I'm weighing. I gained like 2 or 3 pounds this past 2 weeks. I stopped doing intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
So I'm on eggs for breakfast now with a little cheese on top. It's delicious.
Nice. How many eggs?
And 4 eggs. 4 eggs every day. Cheese on top. Just to kickstart the system, get something in there.
I gotta have 4 eggs, and then I gotta have some meat with it. Like I gotta have 4 eggs, and I have some like slow cooked meat on the side there for the breakfast. But I do 2 meals usually. So.
See, I'm on 3 meals now. Then like this is just like an average day. Then like maybe a pound of, say, ribeye for lunch, or close to a pound, a little bit less. I don't always eat a pound. And then later on for dinner, I'll have something like burgers for dinner with the bun. So I don't know, calorie wise, I'm probably like 2,500. Give or take, maybe 2,500 to 2,800 a day. Mm-hmm. And, never mind. I'm actually more than that now because I am drinking milk with 2 of the meals per day.
So you might be 3,500 calories or so a day.
I'm definitely like 3,000 or so calories now with the milk. But the milk was the key for me, man. I cut out caffeine, significant amount of caffeine. I know I was drinking coffee earlier. But I'm drinking like 1 coffee a day now, and I'm forcing myself to stay there.
Yeah.
because I definitely love my caffeine, and it was messing my stomach up, giving me ulcers.
Really?
So now
caffeine.
I'm
Hey, I see some
flexing
gains,
now.
dude. I'm seeing
Putting
some
some gains on now.
I am seeing some gains. That's cool.
Drew, milk and eggs, you're gonna die. I feel amazing, dude. Like, I love telling people, "Oh, you're gonna get heart disease from that." Well, how come Dr. Eric Berg, after eating ketogenic for 5 straight years, does a calcium artery scan,
Yeah.
and he comes back with a score of 0? How do you
And
explain that?
And what about myself, who did a not a coronary artery calcium exam, but a carotid artery exam, right? A carotid artery, my carotid arteries perfectly clear after I think
Perfectly
I did it
clear.
after 6
How?
years.
How's
After
that
6 years on
possible?
a ketogenic high fat diet, perfectly clear. Right, so I had like for those first like 5 years, very little carbohydrate at all. Every once in a while, having little carbs here and there. You know, kids want to eat something and try something here and there, just to, you know, I wasn't crazy obsessively avoiding carbs. I don't think they're bad, but I just felt really good without them. Now, for the last couple of years, I've been cycling carbs in and out, playing with different little different ways of doing it. But yeah, totally fine. Carotid artery, totally clear. So how is that, vegans? I thought I was.
How's it possible? If meat and cholesterol 100% clog arteries,
anecdotal.
How
It's
do you
anecdotal.
explain that?
Anecdotal, bro. That's anecdote. There's no. Show me a study that proves that. Show me a study. Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
You got all
It's-
kinds of super chats, boy.
Yeah. Where's the super chats? Let's
Oh,
see.
they're going off into the tinfoil land now. I don't know.
Where we at? We'll see what's up here. We got all right. Electric universe theory. All right. So Ishmael's do not. Ribeye, come here. Chill out. Got my dog whacking the computer with his tail below me. Sit down. There you go. You just relax. You're such a good boy. Everybody's getting big. Is Maze do Nacht for another 549 euros. Says, what about electric universe theory and our ancient sun? The electric universe theory, they do have some really interesting stuff as far as the electricity, gravity, magnetism. There's definitely something there. When you look at like these high level people at like Lockheed Martin, Skunk Works and stuff, you think these people really believe in like the basic bitch Einsteinian models? It's pretty obvious that they don't. There are obviously technologies, there are obviously things that are harnessing energy very, very different than like the standard, combustion engine. There are technologies that are available. There are ways of using electricity and magnetism and stuff. And I think the electric universe theory is fascinating. I'm not an expert on it, so like I don't know. I can't debunk it or prove it. I'm open to the idea, and I think that it's cool that people are exploring this stuff. So thanks. I don't know, Drew. Do you have any thoughts on that electric universe stuff? Yeah,
I don't know anything about it.
There's some groups, like there's some scientists, there's some groups out there, but I don't really know who to send people to because I haven't looked at this for like 10 years.
I'm heading to a flat Earth convention later today. I don't know about the universe.
You're going to a
stuff.
flat Earth convention?
Yeah.
You are? You're fucking around. Flat Earth convention run by Flat Earth convention run by the fucking FBI. Seeking Truth in Christ. Yeah. Dear Velvet Antler, anabolic effects. Look, Dear Velvet Antler, that is something that people have used for a long time. You probably would want to talk to somebody like the guys at Vigor, David Limaker. He's got a company called Vigor, VIGR, in Canada. Daniel Vitalis was really into pumping that stuff for a while.
Ray Lewis took that when he won the Super Bowl, I think.
I've tried it.
He claimed that it was...
Yeah. I've tried it.
Like steroids.
It wasn't like steroids. I've never taken steroids. Nothing natural that I've ever taken has ever been like steroids. Even though I tried a lot of these natural things that people say will give you gains, like Cissus is the closest thing as far as a natural compound that helped me to make gains at one point. Cissus quadrangularis is an herb. That stuff gave me some really intense gains and crazy pumps. 4 years ago I used it, but I haven't bought it and used it since because the first time I used it worked really well, felt a huge difference, definitely made a big difference in energy production and in lifting, I noticed. And then the second time I used it, didn't notice it as much. Maybe I got a bad batch or something, but it was the same brand. So that one worked. Dear Velvet Antler was cool, but it didn't, I don't know, it wasn't like steroids.
I'm excited to hear your answer on the next one.
Michael Romanus, this one, who sends, what is that, South Korean something, SEK? Is carbs/fat combining unhealthy for athletes? Absolutely not. Carbs and fat combining, not unhealthy for athletes. That's the one you're talking about.
What kind of athlete, though? Like, does it matter what kind of athlete? Because that's one thing that I actually do still follow. I do believe that there's some at least some downside to combining fat and carbs because of the
When?
insulin response to it, and it stays elevated for too long? What do you think?
Well, I mean, if you're overeating and you're trying to gain weight using fat and carbs together, I mean, it depends on the context, right? But saying fat and carbs together are bad, inherently, I think it's nonsense. If you're not overeating, if you're not having a lot of like excess caloric intake, not a problem for me. You know, I don't think it's a problem. People have eaten carbohydrates and fat forever, right? So I mean, I don't think it's necessarily an issue. If you're trying to gain weight, carbs and fat useful. If you're a really intense like glycolytic athlete, carbohydrates are useful, and you don't want to skip on the fat. So it's like if you're eating 1 meal a day, 2 meals a day, and you're pretty athletic, combining carbs and fat not going to be a problem. If you're eating 6 meals a day and you're having loads of carbs and fat with those meals, you're going to gain weight, get fat. So yeah, I don't think like high carb.
What do you
or
think
high
about
fat
these guys
has to
that are
be-
getting? What do you think about these guys that are getting like they'll have heart disease and they are of normal weight? Like, where do you think that's coming from?
Right. We know inflammation has a major effect, right? Insulin's not inherently bad, but elevated insulin levels are also, you know, an indicator of heart disease, right? So chronic hyperinsulinemia, insulin resistance, inflammation, the breaking up of the arterial wall from inflammation. And there are also people who are talking about bacteria being present in those spots in the arterial wall. They're finding there's certain bacteria that are present too. So to say we definitively know exactly how and why heart disease manifests always, I think that's misinformed. To say it's all because of the fat or just all because of the carbs, I'm also not convinced. I mean, at one point I was convinced, like at one point I would have said combining carbs and fat are a terrible idea, right? Like when I first started reading about keto, first started reading some of this information, but over the years from being exposed to a lot of this stuff and from experimenting with myself and seeing other people and just thinking about it deeply a lot, I think carbs and fat, neither one of them should be demonized.
From my perspective, I'm trying to limit it to like 1 meal a day.
Yeah.
Where I
You
can
don't need as many
intensely
carbs.
combine carbs and fat. What do you think?
Yeah, you don't. No, yeah, not everybody needs loads of carbs. If you're having carbs, you don't need to be eating them all day. If I eat carbs, it's usually going to be once a day too, and it's going to probably be, I don't know, less than 300 grams of carbs. But it depends. Like it's just carbs have their use, especially for explosive athletes, right? So it's like if I'm, I don't know, like let's talk about training and what you've been doing for your training, and we can talk about nutrition too, and kind of tie it in with like different modalities, right? And if people have questions, feel free to send us the super chats if you got any questions. Ever try kratom? Kratom is yeah, it's a good one. Israel De Leon, thank you for the question. Thank you for the $10. Kratom, I have tried it. Chris Bell is a kind of a more of an expert on kratom. It is very powerful for reducing pain. I also found that it affected short-term memory, right? So it did have side effects that might not be liked by some people. I found that it affected my short-term memory. I did notice a cognitive difference when I've tried kratom in the past. I think it's better than prescription opioids. Obviously, way better than prescription opioids. And a lot of people get off of prescription drugs by using kratom, which is a leaf that is an opioid. So thanks for the question, man. What do you think about kratom?
Yeah,
The guy who asked. Have you tried it?
It was super popular in Hawaii. I guess maybe because of the community that I was in, like the vegans or whatever, they were all like everybody who loved experimenting with different plant medicines and plant drugs and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, I tried it a few times. It just kind of makes you feel a little loopy, a little drunk. There's really I didn't see any benefit to it. I mean, if somebody's trying to use it to get off heroin or something, yeah, go for it. Like anything's better than that. But I mean, I don't know if it's some magical substance that people are trying to make it out to be.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it is. And somebody said they know someone who was addicted to kratom. So yeah, I think people think that just because something's natural, you can't become addicted to it. You're probably going to have less withdrawals from kratom than you're going to have from, you know, fucking fentanyl or something, or from Vicodin. But yeah, it's about context. I don't recommend kratom all the time. I don't recommend it ever, really, because I'm not an advocate. But look, if it works,
we would hold events at my buddy's shop where he would. It was like a kitchen, and then we would have like a big open space where we would have musicians come in and play, and then people would come in and buy drinks and dance and stuff like that. And I would actually even bartend sometimes, and we were serving kratom in some of the drinks. Like some of our drinks on the menu had kratom in it. So
tastes terrible. It's the worst taste.
It does. It's all bitter. It's gross.
Yeah, it actually tastes like fucking peyote. San Pedro cactus. That's what it tastes. It tastes really bad.
Yeah, that's another popular thing there. Everybody loves San Pedro there. Ayahuasca. What other bullshit
The medicine.
do you want to
The
take?
medicine. Oh, I had all these
plant
amazing.
medicine.
I had so many amazing, enlightening realizations on my plant medicine experience, and I have to do it again immediately. It's like, it changed my life. I can't wait to do it again tomorrow.
I know.
The shaman.
Sorry to anybody that I know that does it, but like I'm just not down with it. And I guarantee in 10 years from now, those people will agree with me. 10 years from now, when they've gotten through that bullshit, they're gonna be like, that was a fucking waste of time.
Yeah. They'd be like, oh yeah, I didn't learn anything that I didn't already know, and it just filled me full of pride, and I thought I was, something fucking special because I was high as shit. Yeah, it's funny, these things they talk about, like, remove your ego, bro, but then it all becomes like this thing of like whose ego is the smallest. It's like everyone. Once you remove your ego, the next step is to start your own fucking sex cult, right? It's like you remove your own ego, and then you become a shaman, and then
You don't know who. You don't know who. I don't know how much of this I can actually say either, but you don't
talk
know
offline
who
something.
Kai. What's his name? Kai. You guys know who I'm talking about? Kai. He's a vegan dude. He's a little skinny guy from California. He's got a big beard now. He's looking terrible lately.
Is that raw fruitarian guy? Raw.
He's a vegan dude. He wears like a big beaded necklace. He used to talk about mushrooms all the time. I can't remember his name right now. Anyway, I knew somebody that was with him, like with him, and we're friends. And God damn it, it feels pointless that I don't have his name. But Koi Fresco, there you go, Koi Fresco.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I know somebody that was up in there, and yeah, homeboy had a massive ego and was massively insecure and weird, and he plays online like he's this dude that's above the ego, above he's giving out all the spiritual advice, but really he's a fucking weirdo in real life. So anyway, a lot of these people are full of shit. A lot of them are.
Not surprising. Yeah. Well, you look at these. If you've been involved in these circles at any point, or the so-called plant medicine scene, yeah, exactly.
Right. Bow down to Koi.
It's just like I just wish that he would just drop the ego, because that guy's ego, it's just like so much bigger than mine, and like I don't know, like my ego's really small. My ego's like
my
really
dude,
tiny.
my ego is so small. Like you want to hang out tonight?
Like
you want to talk about
centimeters. Like it's like barely measurable, my ego. So
that guy, the other
really
dude, he's like a vegan guy. God damn it! I forgot. I definitely don't know this guy's name, but he was talking a bunch of shit. He was trying to get up in the mix, like 6 or 8 months ago. Him and his girlfriend live in a van. You guys know who I'm talking about? This tall vegan dude.
His girlfriend live in a van. You mean tattoos, everyone on YouTube now?
Tattoos all over, right? Yeah. Like tattoos, you get to show off to look cool, but yet you're talking about.
Are you talking about the hippie guys with his dreads? He's got his spiritual dreads. Yeah, dude, that's the funniest one. Where it's like, yeah, the dreadlocks. They're all about like, it's all about like rejecting the vanity of the world and stuff. And it's like, I'm just like, let me show you how to brush your dreads and how to clean them out, how to make them look so awesome and beautiful.
You got like $5,000, $6,000 of tattoo work on your body to show off and look.
Yeah,
cool.
you look like a fucking. You look like Alex Gray's sketchbook. Get the fuck out of here.
Anyway, my ego's huge, and I don't give a shit.
Ain't no one who doesn't have an ego. But my ego's smaller than all of yours.
Oh, yeah.
My ego's way smaller than Bart K's.
My voice is ruined.
Bart K's going live in an hour, guys. Bart K, Nutrition Science Watchdog. Guys, make sure to go check out Bart K in 1 hour. Unless I'm still streaming. No, I'm just kidding. Go watch Bart. Get out of here. Go right now. Go to Bart's stream. Just wait for him. Don't listen to me. Go help Bart K. Go help Bart K make his ego smaller. Bart K, me and Drew just wanted to tell you that we've been talking about you a lot, and we've decided that your ego is just so big, and you need to be a smaller ego like me and Drew. So can you just come in? We're going to drink the medicine with Don Howard, and Don Howard's going to help us. We're going to drink the medicine out of a skull that he got from his shaman that initiated him. And then we're going to snort DMT dust through a human bone that he got from his father, who is also a shaman. It's going to be amazing. He's comes from like a true lineage of shamans in Arizona. I don't know if you guys have He's
Oh
from
man,
he's from
God damn it.
Sedona.
Guys,
He's from Sedona. He used to live in Austin, Texas, where like he grew up like as a shaman. He's from Austin.
I can't even share some of the funniest stuff that I know about personal friends because
Same here.
some of the stuff is so stupid. You guys don't even understand.
You guys don't even know.
You guys don't even know. When you're
we're gonna have the member section after this where it's like there'll be a paywall and you guys can hear all me and Drew's the really funny
we
stories.
can talk shit on our personal friends and give out names, and then you guys can come on through.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah.
But seriously though, you guys, I see a lot of egos in the chat right now, and I can tell that you people who disagree with me have huge egos. So just really drop the egos and do everything I say. Just drop
Whenever
the
somebody's
egos,
a
guys.
shaman, like a 21st century shaman, they're like, oh yeah, that person's a shaman. Like, what? Because you play fucking drums and you do mushrooms and you grow weed.
You're a shaman because you bought a vial of acid, so now you're a fucking shaman. All right. You spent $400 on a vial of acid, so now you're a shaman.
He took an online course from a Peruvian medicine doctor. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean he's not a shaman? Yeah, of course he's a shaman. We had sex on mushrooms the other day.
All right. yeah, he opened my third eye with his 11th finger.
All right, my voice is thrashed. I gotta work out.
Yeah, we gotta finish this, man. It's been almost 3 hours. All right, guys, drop your damn egos. Go subscribe to Drew Morg's channel. Go check out. We got Buddy Bart K. Our buddy Bart K is about to hit up a live stream, and we're out of here. Drew, it's been great. You got anything to say to the audience before I let you go?
No, just stay tuned to the content. We're gonna make some more little voiceover philosophical videos. I enjoy making those, and we'll keep the conversation moving forward. Keep the conversation moving forward. That's the thing.
Okay.
We're not just here for drama and pleasure. Gotta have some purpose to this whole damn thing.
We're here to help people.
Oh, and interviews coming up. Frank Tufano has agreed to come on my show, so we're gonna get Frank soon, and potentially. God damn it! You're ruining my chances with Frank. And then,
dude, you hit the big leagues, man. You're about to Frank Tufano is going to talk to you.
Frank Tufano is going to give me his time, and I'm honored.
The guy who invented eating meat. That's amazing, dude. Tell him I said thank you so much for inventing meat, and for and yeah, I really appreciate the fact that he invented meat.
One of his little spies
diet.
is going to chop this section up and then just send it to him, and Frank's going to block me on Instagram.
No.
And we have some sort of debate. We're still coming up with some sort of debate with potentially Durian Rider. It's going to be a battle royale. Durian Rider, Sunfruit Dan, and Primal Edge Health. I'm thinking we can.
down.
Oh no. We have Durian Rider, Sunfruit Dan, and who's the third? bring him on. Tristan gets too fired up when we put him in front of. When we put him in front of Durian Rider.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna debate Durian Rider. I'll just shame him. I'll just tell him what a piece of shit he is. Yeah, that's the thing. It would be really funny to do that. But yeah, dude, if you ever want me on the channel, hit me up. I'm always down, man. I think I've been on your channel once. I know your audience is mostly like more normie. They get annoyed when I come on. They don't like me, but you know.
We need the deep fake stuff off of you though.
You can deep fake me. Yeah, there you go. Just put a deep fake. I'll send my deep fake. But all right, dude. Drew Morg, you can see him at the Drew Morg YouTube channel. And yeah, we're out of here, guys. Peace.
Trying to raise the sense of urgency around climate change.
What ups, Reflections? I am not a bigot. I am ready to save the planet by doing exactly what the big banks tell the TV screens to tell us to do. I feel so empowered on my #vegan journey. Join us as we chant empty slogans for #climate action written by PR firms. We need to save the earth and demand a global totalitarian technocratic government run by big finance and the Fortune 100. Our house is on fire and we need the nice grown-up government to take everyone's land and resources and ration us delicious, sustainable, nutrient-fortified vegan kibble. This is an emergency. Mommy Earth is crying so sad because she wants the mean grown-ups to give poor little 16-year-old human shield Greta her future back.
Do you have anything to add to these debates about just in particular the idea that it's kind of too expensive to deal with climate change?
I mean, it is
The money is there. If we can save the banks, then we can save the world. I mean...
Jeffrey Epstein committed suicides and was working alone. Veganism is desirable and fun and make me smile big happy on my insides. I do not hate children. I am not a science denier. I do like science. To fix the hashtag climate crisis we need to sterilize ourselves, starve ourselves, eat babies and grandma and move to a social engineered hashtag smart city to save the earth. There is no time to examine the inconsistencies in our claims or actions or the billions of dollars being leveraged to brainwash us into thinking we want this. We want hashtag climate action now and a hashtag plant-based food system of sustainable fortified kibble. We are not being used. We are truly empowered and full of energy that we are using constructively. We are so empowered and not deceived.
We all share the same values, so we just need to align those values with our actions and join forces. We all want the same thing. We want to see an Earth in the next 50 years.
The money is there. If we can save the banks, then we can save the world. I mean...